Nothing. Cubs hosting the Marlins again today. The Sox are in Detroit tonight. News and service of Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel and stock up on Pepsi 24 packs or Lipton Tea 12 packs. Only $3.99 when you buy 3. Limit 6. A dozen Luzerne by Jewel eggs are just $1. And a 6-ounce USDA Choice Filet Mignon just $4.99. Limit 4. AM 560 News Time 5:04. Where are the cars this morning? Well, we've got the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Joe Walsh here. You know how much I love our country, and you probably also know how much I love our country's greatest ally in the Middle East and around the world, the nation of Israel. That's why I want you to join me and Caroline Glick of the Jerusalem Post for a special event, America in Israel, a town hall. It's happening on August 4th at the Chevy Chase Country Club in Wheeling. The event is free, but reservations are required. Right now, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword Israel to register today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At 5:05, it's time for a look at the traffic. Let's go into the traffic center and the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center to be exact. Here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Right now on the Edens, we have no delays at all. That means 19 minutes in or out from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy into downtown is 20 minutes, 10 from Montrose in the local lanes, or 8 in the express, but not really a lot of traffic either way. 20 back out. Eisenhower's in good shape in both directions. Stevenson, either way, 34 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan is in good both ways. It's 15 from 95th to downtown. We do have closures outbound. At 59th, the entrance ramp is closed. At 63rd and 71st, the exit ramps are closed. Traffic's a service of the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications. Help keep Chicago and Cook County safe. If you see something, say something. Report suspicious activity by calling 855-RPRT-274. This message is brought to you by the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications and paid for by a FEMA grant. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partial sunshine today with a high of 84, partly cloudy night of 71. Clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tomorrow, high 86. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm in spots with a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
73 degrees at the lakefront in Midway. It's 70 at O'Hare. Next news update 5:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, day 4, 5, what's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 of the Khan story. Not dwelling on it the same way we did yesterday with all that happened over the weekend, but there was more yesterday that we need to review. One of the things was Pat Smith resurfacing, Patricia Smith, the mother of Sean Smith, Sean Smith, one of the 4 men murdered in Benghazi by terrorists. She went on with, I don't know, one of those fungible CNN hosts, Brooke Baldwin or Don Lemon.
Carol Costello. No, the Cons were on with Don Lemon.
Wolf Blitzer. They all look the same to me. She was asked about her reaction, asked for her reaction to what Trump said about Mr. Khan.
I think that anybody that loses a child should be allowed the grief that goes along with it. When you lose your child, that's all you can think about. And you shouldn't have anybody telling you that you can't think that way.
And
nice. That was a solid answer and respectful.
This is, kind of stripping away the politics of it and just talking grieving parent about grieving parent. And then she was asked specifically about Mrs. Khan and Mrs. Khan not speaking during the DNC when both Mr. and Mrs. Khan appeared on stage.
Of course I can relate to that. When somebody cries over their child, like I have many, many, many times, that's what you feel. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that. That comes with the territory. I don't agree with Hillary, though.
Yeah, so then she went back to Hillary because continued to be gently pressed, and it was a fine interview, but gently pressed about what Trump had said in the context of what she had said and the nature of this all being in the political arena. She was asked if she thought Donald Trump should apologize to the Khan family for what he said, since she said that, it was fine what he said, it was fine what she didn't say. So should Trump apologize?
Do you think he should apologize, as these Gold Star families are asking for him to do, Mr. Trump?
No, I don't. That's what he believed.
But did you just say that it's not okay to say those things if a family is grieving? Do you not agree that that wasn't appropriate?
I'm not going to put any words into Donald's mouth. He is saying what he believes that he should say. I don't see anything wrong with that. They haven't jumped on Hillary for anything that she has said, and she has said 90 times more about things than the Donald has.
Yeah, and I suppose it's interesting that I guess the argument about Pat Smith didn't get near the coverage that the Khans did in terms of the respective speeches at the convention. And I suppose there's a couple of things here. One is we're very familiar with the Benghazi story,
right?
And
it was
Smith.
Made into a movie and a book, and people are.
But we're familiar with her too because she has appeared on cable news shows and so forth for a long time.
Yeah.
To talk about this, and it's been a long run-up. We weren't as familiar with the Khan story, even though it was reported when Captain Khan was killed in action. We're just not as familiar with the story, and his parents, certainly, we were totally unfamiliar with. So that's maybe one reason why it was different. Number two, the kind of octane of the speech that was given by Mr. Khan. That was another reason. And then number three, and this goes to Hillary versus Trump, Hillary's private lies versus Donald's public comments. And so you argue about private lies, and Hillary soft pedals them by saying, well, I understand how in the nature of these things, people could not hear everything that was said or mishear something that was said. So she doesn't go on full attack. She just kind of, there's just a difference of interpretation. It's the Rashomon effect. We were both there, but we saw and heard different things. Where Trump makes these public statements, and so you can zero in and dissect these public statements, and that is much easier for the media to do.
Yeah, and yesterday when he was campaigning, he didn't mention it at all. Didn't talk about it when he was in Pennsylvania. Today's he's going to be in Ashburn, Virginia, campaigning. But then he sat down with a local TV station, WSYK. You're familiar with them, right? You applied there, right, Dan?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I probably did at some point in time.
Because then I would have to live in Columbus.
And he responded because all day long the Khans were on every single network, ABC, CBS. They were on CNN twice yesterday. And Donald Trump can't control himself, and he said that he's trying to keep terrorists out of the U.S.
I was very viciously attacked, as you know, on the stage, and I was surprised to see it. And so all I did, I have great honor and great feeling for his son, Mr. Khan's son. But as far as I'm concerned, he's a hero.
You've talked a lot about border security as a way to prevent terrorists from getting into the United States.
It's a very big subject for me, and border security is very big. And when you have radical Islamic terrorists probably all over the place, we're allowing them to come in by the thousands and thousands, and I think that's what bothered Mr. Khan more than anything else.
Yeah, so this was taken by the left to say, now he's accusing Khan of being some kind of terrorist sympathizer.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, come on.
Hello?
Do you hear voices in your head?
Yeah. Okay. God, is that you?
Is that Dad?
So in terms of the idea, what he's talking about is with respect to Donald Trump's temporary ban on immigration of Muslims and others from countries that have been compromised by terrorism. He's not, to take that and say now he's accusing Khan
of being a terrorist.
Insinuating that Khan is a terrorist or terrorist sympathizer, is ridiculous. But there's been pushback from military on Mr. Khan.
On pushback to Mr. Khan or pushback to Trump?
Pushback to Mr. Khan. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. A U.S. Marine and Navy veteran, Chris Mark, wrote an open letter to Mr. Khan in which he said a couple of things. As a veteran, I watched your comments at the Democrat National Convention with a mixture of sadness and anger. The United States has a military comprised of volunteers. Every single member has made the conscious choice to join the military and serve. Does it matter whether Mr. Trump has sacrificed nothing and no one? Has Mrs. Clinton sacrificed for this nation? How about Mr. Obama? Your comment saying that Mr. Trump has sacrificed no one is alarming. Are you insinuating that you sacrificed? Sir, your son willingly sacrificed himself. As a father, I cannot imagine the pain you must feel, but his sacrifice is his own. He was not forced to serve. Mr. Mark goes on to say, did you watch when protesters at the DNC booed and heckled Medal of Honor recipient Captain Florent Groberg? Did you notice your party interrupting the moment of silence for slain police officers? Your own hypocrisy is not denouncing these acts and instead using the DNC as a platform to make a political point is disgraceful. So, even though there have been Gold Star families that have called for Donald Trump to apologize, even though there have been a lot of Republicans, including John McCain, that have suggested that Trump's remarks were inappropriate and tone deaf, I've done the same. Certainly the idea that particularly those who have served in the military, not in politics. This is why I hate using the word served when we talk about military, and then using the word served when we talk a political hack like Hillary Clinton or politicians in general is a bastardization of the definition of served. Yes, in the military, no. In politics. David French has a good piece, but it's something I've been saying for years. This idea, you're elected to an office, all of a sudden you're magically turned into the selfless public servant. Spare me. Spare me the histrionics of public service, all these wonderful intellects that we have in the halls of power who forego higher paying jobs to sacrifice and serve their fellow man. Bull jive. I think we've seen how the political ruling class operates. So just dispense with this idea that Hillary Clinton is somehow a public servant, because she was a U.S. senator, because she worked at the Children's Defense Fund. Give me a break.
Well, why isn't it possible for Donald Trump to apologize? And do you think he needs to apologize just to put this issue to rest? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. What do you think, Dan?
He will.
What will make this go away?
He will offer his first apology when he finally does something wrong. That hasn't happened in his life yet. So as soon as he does, isn't that kind of one of his formulations? You
know what I got sucked into last night? I was watching biography online, a biography about Ivana Trump, his first wife.
Yeah.
And she is an amazing lady. I bet he wishes he could take her back now.
I bet he doesn't.
He does.
I bet he's happy with Melania. Did you see the pictures in the New York Post?
Yeah.
I bet he's happy with Melania.
I had to actually talk to my kids about that last night because they knew about those pictures in the New York Post.
Well,
because they have this thing called the internet on their phone, and I'm not doing a really good job. And they were just curious as to, well, she's with that girl. Why is she with him?
Yeah,
explain that. And then I thought, you know what, Dan will go to lunch with you today and explain it all to you.
Have the birds and the bees conversation.
Yeah, can you? And then that other conversation about why women are together naked. What does that mean, Dan? What's that all about?
Those art photos get around among prepubescent boys. I remember in the library at St. Michael's, we were particularly interested in the National Geographic magazines because of
the clothing that they didn't wear in Africa, things like that.
May have something to do with it.
Yeah.
I read it for the articles.
Of course you did. You were concerned about elephant tusks.
And,
yes, you were.
That's right. Conflict ivory, blood diamonds.
Yes, blood diamonds.
I was ahead of my time. Also, just on this con thing, interestingly, Trump has asked, the campaign at least appealed to Capitol Hill for support yesterday. They wanted surrogates beyond Jeff Sessions to kind of rally to the defense of Donald Trump. So it is interesting that they're trying to enlist allies in this, which is smart because here's how you win elections. Build alliances, enlist people to help. This idea of just repudiating anybody who has soft criticism for Donald Trump, anybody who thinks he makes a strategic or tactical error, well, you're out. Why don't you just go vote for Hillary and, take a walk? That's a good way to lose an election. So you can make a mistake and you can recover from the mistake. It all depends on how you handle it. I'm not sure that apologizing now does much of anything. I think the biggest thing Donald Trump could do to put this behind him is to stop talking about it. That's the way to put it behind you.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for this second day of August, 70 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies. We're going to have thunderstorms come through here around 11 a.m. It's going to be hot and humid, a high of 86 degrees. Then Wednesday, more thunderstorms and a high of 87. Let's get the travel times. Here's Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, Dan. We have some closures in the Grant Park area because of cleanup from Lollapalooza. Congress shut down both ways between Michigan and Columbus until sometime later today. Balbo's closed from Michigan to Lakeshore Drive till sometime Friday. Jackson closed from Michigan to Lakeshore Drive, and Columbus is closed between Monroe and Roosevelt. Again, all that is for Lollapalooza cleanup. On the Edens, we have no delays either way. Kennedy in or out 20 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower's moving well both directions. On the Stevenson, 34 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 24 in from the Tri-State, 10 minutes in from Cicero. No outbound delays. Dan Ryan, 15 either way to downtown to 95th. We do have some outbound closures on the Ryan until 6 a.m. Outbound at 59th, the entrance ramp is closed. Then at 63rd and 71st, the exit ramps are closed. I'm Al Verity in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. Mm-hmm. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so kind of closing the loop on the con matter.
Oh, no, this isn't over yet.
I've got to play this. This Darwin Award competition for pundits on CNN that they've got going with Corey Lewandowski and Christine Quinn.
Yeah.
Corey Lewandowski, of course, was Donald Trump's campaign manager, quote unquote, kind of a glorified field guy that turned into a campaign manager that's now turned into a CNN pundit, a brother. And Christine Quinn is this ghastly former city council speaker of the city of New York who...
Look at the disdain on your face.
You'll understand why in a moment.
Okay.
Although even before this, I had disdain for her. But she was in that primary against de Blasio for mayor of New York City.
Yeah. Oh, no, I remember her.
Yeah.
Got herself a gig, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, she's a CNN contributor, too. And so the question was put to Corey on CNN by... the assembled panels. I don't know who it was. Wolf Blitzers. Is Bernie Shaw still there? Maybe it was Bernie Shaw.
Bernie Shaw retired. Is Bernie Shaw alive? I'll take to the hot box.
Dead or Canadian. I think he's alive and not Canadian. Corey Lewandowski was asked, what would you have advised Mr. Trump to do on the con matter?
Mr. Trump has the ability to respond. Would you have advised him, when you were campaign manager, would you have advised him to bring up the silence of the grieving mother after the fact? Is that advice you would have given?
Here's what I would say to him. When someone attacks you publicly in front of a stage of millions of people, you have the ability to respond. Now, this is a very sensitive issue.
She didn't say a word. She didn't say a word.
Excuse me.
No, this is ridiculous.
Excuse me. Their son made the ultimate
outrageously
sacrifice.
un-American.
And he understands that, and he calls him a hero. But he does have the ability, when someone attacks him personally and accuses him of something which he did not, has never done, which they said he's never read the Constitution, which is not true. He has the ability to respond.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then this happened.
He also insinuated that the wife was not allowed to speak. He said maybe she wasn't allowed to speak.
He did more than insinuate. He flat out said it. And any decent person who saw Mrs. Khan on stage could see the pain and the grief in her face. And any person who has lost anyone, or even any person who's been so blessed they haven't, could understand why she couldn't talk even all these years later about losing her son in the way she lost him. I lost my mother when I was 16. I'm 50. I couldn't stand in front of America and talk about her.
This was
and then no. And then to make
you gotta relax a little bit. You gotta relax a little bit.
I do not have to relax.
The Cons chose to engage this. Excuse me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Oh, come
excuse me.
She
relax.
chose to stand there. I'm not going to relax because we have a man running for president of the United States who made a Gold Star mother have to go on TV and cry in front of America. This isn't about politics.
He didn't ask
this isn't about. She felt she had to. This isn't about politics. This isn't about presidential campaigns. It's not even about me nicely touching your arm. It is about decency. And gold.
I know we're all dumber for having to listen to those two, but I just
Who
want
did she touch? Corey's
Corey.
arm? Oh,
and
Corey knows a lot about touching.
Any of you touch my stuff,
don't touch.
And Corey will kill you. And then it's spilled into the green room where they continue with their Lilo and Stitch routine of, I'm not touching you, stop touching me, I'm not touching you.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
well, seriously
good
though,
grief.
the mom...
and Christine Quinn with the over the top, she was on the borderline of tears. Come on.
Well, she lost her mom when she was 16.
She lost her mom 34 years ago.
In the theater of war? No, she just... But I mean, I can't take that away from her. That's a sad moment. But Mrs. Khan, I pronounce her name wrong every time. Shahzala Khan, she really, every show she went on yesterday, she could not stop crying.
I love my soldiers, so I will be. I will take care of them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Do you think they'll take a rest today and not?
they indicated, at least Mr. Khan indicated, that he is going to de-escalate and step away from the spotlight. That's probably a good idea for them, and it's probably a good idea if Donald Trump leaves them there.
And I don't like nobody touching my stuff. So just keep your meat hooks off. If I catch any of you guys in my stuff, I'll kill you.
Lighten up, Francis.
Stop touching me.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Do you think identity theft is only when someone adds charges to your credit card? It's actually when someone pretends to be you to open new accounts in your name or any number of bad things. LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to alert you to a huge range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, we have a team of U.S.-based specialists who will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Membership starts at $9.99 a month, plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com and use promo code NEWS to get 10% off.
You've heard me talking about the new website. No, that would not be it. Hey, guess what? It's a time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Dan escaped to Wisconsin with an overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. Spend the night in Molly's room. It's a 2-room luxury suite with a private bath and concierge service. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies. Yours for only $85. That's a $169 value. Hey, if you need to stay closer to home but want a night out, laugh out loud and be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets normally $44 a pair. At CRD, they're only $22. And be sure to get your car ready for summer cruising with a deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes wash, vacuum, windows, and dash. An $18 deal for only $10. Your summer is waiting for you only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
President Obama says he's tired of people running down the military. Well, he's not going to like what a retired Air Force Lieutenant General had to say. That's at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello to Dave Stewart, who's in for Mike Scott.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. 70 degrees in Chicago, 531 on AM 560, The Answer. Partly sunny today. Look for a high of 84. Donald Trump may have a new nickname for Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania. Yesterday, Trump said that former candidate Bernie Sanders made a deal with the devil when he endorsed Clinton.
If he would have just not done anything, just go home, go to sleep, relax, he would have been a hero. But he made a deal with the devil. She's the devil. He made a deal with the devil. It's true.
The Trump campaign's been making an effort to draw Sanders supporters who are disillusioned with Clinton's nomination. She continues to surge in the polls after last week's convention. A new CNN ORC poll found the Democratic nominee got a 7% boost in a head-to-head matchup with Trump. Clinton leads 52% to 43%. The attorney for the family of a man shot and killed by Chicago police last week is demanding the release of all police video of the shooting. Michael Oppenheimer expressed skepticism upon hearing that the body camera of the officer who shot O'Neill in the back wasn't working at the time.
How convenient that they don't work. If there is not a cover-up here, I don't know where there is.
Paul O'Neill was shot as he fled from a stolen car on foot while being chased by police. The city of Chicago will start testing the drinking water in homes on streets where the risk of lead contamination is the highest. The city water department said it will enlist volunteers to have their water tested before and after the street mains are replaced, work that federal researchers have found can cause alarming levels of lead to leach into the tap water for weeks. It is rare when a sitting Cook County Chief Judge is challenged, but that's what's happening this fall. Chief Judge Timothy Evans will face off against Thomas Allen, a former alderman who's a judge in Chancery Court. Allen says he's definitely in, but he says he's not being critical of Evans, who's held the post since 2001. In sports, Cubs over the Marlins 5-0. Cubs host the Marlins again today, and the Sox are in Detroit tonight. News and service of Sprint. Hey, Chicago, no one beats Sprint for reliability of its network. Independent third-party testing of 4 mobile networks told them so. So why wouldn't you switch to Sprint? Visit them online at sprint.com/Chicago Network or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today. AM 560 News Time, 5:33. We've got traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
It's back. The biggest conservative event in the Midwest returns this October. It's Freedom Summit Chicago 2016, October 29th in Itasca, featuring Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Mike Gallagher, Stephen Moore, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Joe Walsh, and many more. Tickets start at just $29. Order your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Precision Payroll of America, Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists, and by the Illinois Policy Institute.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test from my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
At 5:35, let's check the roads from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Both sides of the Edens are in great shape at this hour. Just 19 in or out between Lake Cook and the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy in is fine. It's 20 minutes in from O'Hare, 10 minutes in from Montrose and the locals. The Express might save you a couple minutes. No outbound delays. Eisenhower, 29 either way from Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson inbound, 34 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 24 in from the Tri-State, 10 in from Cicero. Outbound is good, 55 moving well. Dan Ryan in, slows from Cermak to the Circle, 19 in, 95th to downtown. Outbound, no delays, but we have some ramp closures till 6. First of all, at 59th, the entrance ramp is closed. And at 63rd and 71st, the exit ramps are closed. And Bishop Ford inbound from 103rd to the Ryan, a little bit of a slowdown there. Traffic's a service of Bank of America. Get where you're going and earn 3% cash back on gas along the way with a Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/getcashback. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast. Service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Partly sunny today, high 84. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight, low 71. Partly sunny tomorrow with a thunderstorm possible, warm and humid again, high 86. Right now, 70 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 6 o'clock, a continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Donald Trump and Mike Pence dividing the labor as they should. That's why you have a ticket. Also because it's constitutionally required. But
Ben Carson. Mike Pence is going to be in Tucson today for a town hall, and my mom's going to go.
Oh,
so if you want Louise on tomorrow, she's a heck of a
I like
interviewer.
it. We had an on-the-ground interview with Louise from a Trump rally, right?
Yeah. No, that was my aunt. She was a delegate in Nevada. for Donald Trump.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
You know what? Get my family members
Well,
straight.
the,
and it's Peyton and Eli, okay?
The diaspora of Jacobsons. It's tough to keep track of them all, but that's good. That'll be interesting to see how Pence performs. While Trump was in Pennsylvania yesterday, Pence was in Nevada.
Yeah.
And he had to tackle a couple of pointed questions.
Yeah, well, a military mom stood up and asked him about Donald Trump and his comments about the cons and what he had said. And Governor Pence, I give him credit. He was so gracious and just presidential.
Mr. Pence is, time and time again, Trump has disrespected our nation's armed forces and veterans, and his disrespect for Mr. Khan and his family is just unacceptable.
Well, I thank you for the question. It's all right. It's all right. Politicize the military. Folks, that's what freedom looks like, and that's what freedom sounds like. Okay? Let me just say, first, I want to honor your son's service to the country and your family's service. Let me say, I know this has been much in the news of late, in the last few days. But as I said last night, as Donald Trump said Saturday night, Captain Khan is an American hero, and we honor him and honor his family as we do all.
I mean, the people were booing and they started to stand up, and Governor Pence just put up his hands calmly, had everybody quiet down so that he could talk, and because they looked like they were going to attack this woman.
Yeah, it's just not that complicated. So Pence handled it appropriately.
Yeah, he's great.
And it's just not that difficult to handle these situations. And if you handle them properly, then you can get to the sum and substance of the policy challenges facing the country, particularly in the area of national defense. And this was a matter that President Obama took up as only he can do, which is to say poorly, when he spoke at the Disabled American Veterans Convention yesterday. And, you know, he's real tired of people running down our military.
Else about this generation. As Commander-in-Chief, I'm pretty tired of some folks trash-talking America's military and troops.
Yeah.
Who's he talking about? Who's he talking about, huh?
Yeah, who's he talking about? Not just with respect to the Khan matter, but this before Khan ever spoke last week at the DNC. This was the idea. This was the Democrats' jujitsu move. America is already great. America's always been great in response to Trump. Also, this idea that you talk about the military being in disrepair, that's somehow running down our military men and women. No, it isn't. What you have is people who know what they're talking about, and I'm not talking about this commander-in-chief, providing specifics in terms of the lack of military preparedness, which has not just occurred under President Obama's watch. It's been over the last 25 years. And let me give you a specific. So here's what President Obama said he's doing, and he's committed to doing in his last 6 months in office, as he has been for the first 7.5 years.
And we're going to keep him doing everything we need to do to improve readiness and modernize our forces.
Yeah, keep doing everything that we need to do to improve readiness, modernize forces. Well, they haven't been doing it.
Empty rhetoric. Oh, my gosh.
And specific to the Air Force, because then he just goes into a bunch of rah-rah lines.
The precision of and reach of our Air Force is unmatched.
Yeah. Okay, now let's hear from somebody who knows what they're talking about when it comes to the Air Force, just to highlight this branch of the military and the seriousness of the matter. When we talk about ISIS and we talk about all of the external threats that we face, and then you look and say, okay, well, what are the resources we have to combat those external forces? Lieutenant General David Deptula, who's a retired Air Force, now he's the dean of the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies. He spoke at the American Enterprise Institute. And here's what he provided in terms of specific information, specific accounting of the inventory for the United States Air Force. Listen to this.
The Air Force has been at war not since 9/11, but since January 1991. That's 25 years. That 25 years of continuous combat, coupled with budget instability and lower than planned top lines, has made the Air Force the smallest, the oldest, and the least ready in its history. So let me give you some numbers. So if you take a look at what's happened, not just with readiness, but also force structure, here's the way the Air Force looks since Desert Storm happened and just celebrated the 25th anniversary. 30% fewer people, 40% fewer aircraft, 60% fewer combat-coated fighter squadrons, and 25% fewer aircraft per squadron. Now,
oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah, so
Who do you believe?
When you get past the kind of over-the-top rhetoric and you get down to the brass tacks here, you find out what people are talking about when they say there should be concern about military readiness and the kind of state of the resources at the disposal of military. Deptula also noted that when Reagan was president, the average age of the force aircraft, 12 years. Today, it's 27 years. To put that in context, Deptula said the average age of commercial aircraft, 10 years. So the average age of Air Force aircraft, our air defense, is nearly 3 times older than the average age of the commercial Air Force that you take to go on a little jaunt from here to St. Louis. That's an issue, and here's how he describes, this is kind of the term that he uses to describe the Air Force is a bit jarring.
The bottom line is we're operating a geriatric Air Force. We have fighters that are 55 years old, tankers that are just as old. We're operating training aircraft that are 40 years old. Our fighters and helicopters are 30 years old.
And he referred to the geriatric Air Force. So this is a concern. It's a concern for the next president. And as I said, to repeat, this didn't all just happen under Obama's watch, but it's been exacerbated by neglect. Over the last 25 years, as the retired lieutenant general described, we've just let the House fall into disrepair. And now, the House is near condemnation.
Yeah, but then why does President Obama speak in front of the Disabled American Veterans Group and lie and say that our Air Force is fine, that we're one of the best in the world?
Because, did you ever hear the parable of the frog and the scorpion?
Oh, yeah, remind me.
The scorpion needs to get to the other side of the river. He can't swim. If he tries to swim, he drowns. So he enlists the frog. The frog says, okay, but, don't sting me if I put you on my back and swim you across the river.
Wait, I think I know how this ends.
They get halfway across the river. The scorpion bites him, and they're both drowning. And the frog says to the scorpion, well, why'd you do that? You've killed us both. And the scorpion says, it's in my nature. And so that's why does President Obama give a disingenuous, jingoistic speech before the Disabled American Veterans Convention and be less than accurate with the state of readiness of our military, to the extent that he's even aware and even interested. It's because it's in his nature. By the way, this against
doesn't even do his homework.
Well, and this
really,
this against the backdrop too yesterday of the U.S. conducting airstrikes against ISIS in Libya again, which has been long called for, long overdue. U.S. aircraft struck ISIS vehicles in a tank in the coastal city of Sirte, which is a base for it's basically their Libyan base, the ISIS Libyan base area. So why finally yesterday, after this has been demanded for so long by those who suggest what needs to be done to combat ISIS? Well, we'll get the answer when Katie McFarland, Fox News national security analyst, joins us at 6:36.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cloudy skies right now, 70 degrees, going up to a high today of 84 degrees. But late this morning, around 11 a.m., thunderstorms should roll through here, and it's going to be rain on and off throughout the day. Could be a complete washout. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, some brief spotty thunderstorms, a little warmer, a high of 87 degrees. Let's get the travel time. Here's Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. On the Edens inbound, we're not seeing any delays at all. 19 minutes from Lake Hook into the Kennedy Junction. Same on the outbound trip. Kennedy inbound is fine. It's 20 in from O'Hare to downtown, 10 from Montrose and locals. Express might save you a couple minutes. Back out, things are in good shape. Eisenhower inbound, the traffic's starting to build now between Mannheim and First Avenue. 31 minutes in from Thorndale to the post office, 18 in from Mannheim. Outbound is still good. Stevenson in slows from Central to Pulaski. It's 36 in from 355. 26 in from the Tri-State. Outbound again fine. 55 looks good both directions. Dan Ryan in the express lanes, it's slow from 35th to the Stevenson. Locals are tight from Cermak into the Circle, 19 in from 95th to downtown. Outbound, some ramp closures till 6 this morning. First at 59th, the entrance ramp is closed, and the exits are closed at 63rd and 71st. I'm Al Verdi in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, this is Joe Walsh. That's me sleeping on a MyPillow. You know what? There's a great reason why nearly every AM 560 host endorses this darn pillow, because it's the best. Even the National Sleep Foundation agrees that Made in America MyPillow is in a class by itself because they made it their official pillow, man. Hey, if you still haven't bought one, you should. You will sleep better, and it's good for your health. It's washable to remove dead skin, dirt, skin oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, and asthma. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and it's an excellent health investment. Visit MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Be sure to use that promo code Joe so I get credit, and you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of one. Give one as a gift, keep the other for yourself, or just use both. But do it now, 1-800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com, promo code Joe.
Active lifestyles demand that the food you eat have a purpose, but that doesn't mean you can't indulge in your favorite foods. With Muscle Mac macaroni and cheese, you can finally eat the macaroni and cheese you love and still maintain a healthy diet. With GMO-free pasta and real cheese, with no synthetic dyes, colors, or artificial flavors. Muscle Mac's creamy, cheesy sauce blankets the high-protein pasta for a burst of flavor in every bite. Muscle Mac delivers 20 grams of protein in every delicious serving. Fortified with added vegetable and dairy proteins, it's an affordable and healthy alternative to animal proteins. Just one serving of Muscle Mac mac and cheese provides 40% of your recommended daily protein intake and can be a great addition to a balanced diet. This isn't any ordinary macaroni and cheese. Muscle Mac is made with more real cheese than any other brand. It's a yummy and satisfying meal for your whole family after a full day of activities or anytime you crave the comfort of a delicious bowl of mac and cheese. Available now at Jewel Osco and Pete's Fresh Market throughout Chicagoland.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 33-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
Message and data rates may apply.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of these questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 100 highly ranked degree programs 100% online. You'll earn the same degree as you would on campus, from wherever you are, on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For information, text online to 67076. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 90% of ASU grads are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. To learn more about ASU Online degrees, text online to 67076. Again, that's ONLINE to 67076.
AM 560, The Answer.
Are you excited about the Olympics? They're coming this Friday, opening ceremonies.
Well, there's a couple of things. I'm getting a little bit excited, but not about this. For weeks, the Islamic State has been translating its core propaganda in Portuguese and advertising that it needs Portuguese speakers in what analysts fear is an attempt to recruit and create a network in Brazil to strike around the Olympics. So, of course, security has been heightened more than, I don't know if it can be heightened more than it was, going to be heightened already.
Well, the military might's out. I mean, they've got their bulletproof vests on, the army gear, and they're everywhere.
Yeah. But the concern is ISIS is going to try and recreate, and they've been using as inspiration for their jihadis, the 72 massacre of Israeli athletes in Munich. So that's concerning. This is bizarre but intriguing. Gisele Bündchen.
Oh, is she going to do judo?
No.
Is she an Olympic athlete?
She's not an Olympic.
Is modeling an Olympic event,
She's
Dan?
better than an Olympic athlete.
Hey. She's going to do rhythmic gymnastics because that's back this year.
During the opening ceremony, during a section on the urbanization of Brazil, spectators will hear a song describing Brazil's high number of road accident victims. Then Gisele
Bündchen.
Right, who's, a Brazilian.
Tom Brady's wife.
Yeah. Mr. Bündchen, I'd say. She's going to strut down a catwalk to the sound of The Girl from Ipanema.
What?
And she's going to be held up by an actor and robbed. And then a chase.
Is that the role that you're going to play?
I wish. I'll catch you.
Is that why you're off Friday? No, I'm kidding. You're here.
A chase then takes place around the stadium as police officers race to catch the assailant before she shows that good will prevail. That sounds.
Good looks will prevail?
No, I guess the
weird.
police capture this fake robber.
Well, considering what's going on, I don't think they should be faking any robberies. I mean, the first day there, the Australian Olympic team was robbed, and then they moved to a new village, and then they had a fire in the basement, and they were robbed again.
If they were going to do that, they could have done that in Chicago, but this is just so bizarre. That's what you're going to profile? I guess that's a way of trying to, convey that Rio is safe? That the...
What about the drug lords? Are they going to make an appearance?
The actor playing a thief who steals Gisele Bündchen's clothes, I presume.
Yeah.
She's not going to be wearing any.
No, well, it is
scantily
Brazil.
clad, I hope. They're captured by police after a chase around the stadium.
It's so weird.
This doesn't sound like the opening ceremony to the Olympics. It sounds like a Benny Hill skit.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
If you have sleep apnea and you're tired of dragging around your big, bulky home CPAP device wherever you travel, what I'm about to tell you may sound too good to be true. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Even better, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for a full 10 days. Call us now, 1-800-900-4179. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. It's true. You can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere, anytime you want. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day in-home trial. 1-800-900-4179. That's 1-800-900-4179.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-900-2502. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-900-2502. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-900-2502. That's 1-800-900-2502.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why can't Hillary stop lying at 6:06?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Good morning to Dave Stewart, who's in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. We'll have an update on local news after an update from Fox on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump says he's a little worried about November.
And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged. I have to be honest.
Like the Democratic primaries were, Trump claims, saying those were rigged against Bernie Sanders, who he says made a deal with the devil, endorsing Hillary Clinton. And in the controversy around Trump and the Khan family, the Republican tells Fox.
If I was president back then, there would have been no war for Iraq. I can tell you that, because I think it's ridiculous, the whole thing.
And he says then the Khans wouldn't have lost their son, who was killed in the war 12 years ago. Trump has been criticized for how he's handled the father being critical of Trump during the Democratic convention. Now, Clinton has gotten a bounce in the polls since then, and some help from a billionaire. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Hillary Clinton is seeing a sizable post-convention bump, up 7 points in a CBS poll. A CNN survey shows her with a 9-point lead over Trump. Clinton campaigned last night in Red State, Nebraska, with billionaire investor Warren Buffett, who said he'll do whatever he can to defeat Trump.
I have pledged today that on Election Day, November 8th, I will take at least 10 people to the polls who would otherwise have difficulty getting there.
Buffett suggested Trump is hiding something and has not yet released tax returns. Trump has said he'll release them once an IRS audit is finished. Dave.
Rachel, pregnant women are being urged to avoid an area of Miami where cases of the Zika virus, which can cause birth defects, are blamed on local mosquitoes, prompting officials in other parts of Florida to try to do more to battle them where they breed.
Our first and foremost plan would be to get into that area by ground, access property, and remove any kind of container that would possibly breed mosquitoes.
Ron Montgomery with Hillsborough County Mosquito Control. Do you floss or feel guilty when you don't? Well, the federal government has quietly dropped its recommendation to floss daily, saying its effectiveness has never officially been researched, and other studies show flossing doesn't work. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
70 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm David Stewart. Look for partly sunny skies and a high of 84 today. Chicago police say the body camera of the officer who shot and killed teenager Paul O'Neill last week wasn't recording at the time. It's not clear if it malfunctioned or wasn't turned on as required by department rules. O'Neill family attorney Michael Oppenheimer.
All we have asked for is that the truth come out. And now all of a sudden these brand new body cams don't work. So do I buy that? Absolutely not. We can guess a lot of things, one of which is that they turned them off.
Family is suing the city. Police say there is other video of the events leading up to the shooting last Thursday on the south side. One man killed, at least 11 people, including a 13-year-old boy, wounded in shootings across the city since late Monday morning. About 12:30 this morning, a 29-year-old man shot to death in the Austin neighborhood. He was walking in the 5200 block of West Gladys Avenue when a male attacker came out of a car and fired shots, striking him in the chest. Yesterday, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says more must be done to keep repeat gun offenders in prison longer. He says shooting victims are often the most repeaters.
Nearly 85% of all of our shooting victims this year, both non-fatal and fatal, are on the strategic subject list. But until we get serious about holding repeat gun offenders accountable and keeping them out of our neighborhoods, we're going to continue to see many lives lost in the city of Chicago.
Johnson's backing a bill in Springfield to increase prison time for gun repeaters. And the city says
Morning,
even though
Director
Lollapalooza was a day
Secretary
longer
Clinton
this
said
year,
she
there
never
were fewer
sent or
arrests
received
or
any classified.
citations giving out. 12 people were arrested.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked.
Concert-goers were sent to hospitals.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material.
In sports, Cubs
Secretary
over the
Clinton
Marlins
said she
5-0.
used just
Kyle
one
Hendricks tossed
device.
a complete game. Cubs are hosting
Secretary
the
Clinton
Marlins
said
today.
all work-related
The Sox are
emails
in
were returned to the State
Detroit
Department.
tonight.
Was
News
that
service
true?
of Napa Auto Parts
No,
right
we
now.
found
Napa get a dash cam
Secretary
for
Clinton said her
$39.99
lawyers
with 8
read
gigs of
every
storage
one
and
of the
loop recording
emails.
is the best way to protect
False
yourself on the
exculpatory
road.
statement.
That's Napa know-how.
2 days ago,
At participating
false
Napa
Director,
Auto Parts
you said a
stores, the offer expires the 30th of August while supplies last. AM 560 News Time 6:04. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Marxists, socialists, and communists forget the government doesn't have any money.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
Except money it took from someone who is producing money. Government creates no money. The only way the government has money is if it took it from one of us. And so the only way that it would have money to give these people is if it took more from the other people. Thus, Marxism, communism.
Dave Ramsey, weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss. Driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com and save even more with promo code BRILLIANT. LegalZoom.com.
6:06. A check of the roads now from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center in Al Verde.
Thanks, David. Both sides of the Edens are wide open. 19 either way from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy in or out just 20 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower inbound slows a bit between Wolf and First Avenue. It's 40 minutes in from Thorndale to the post office, 27 in from Manheim, only 29 on the outbound side. Stevenson in hits the brakes between Harlem and Kedzie. Slow again from State Street to Lakeshore Drive. 46 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 33 in from the Tri-State. Outbound is fine. 55 traffic looks good. Dan Ryan in about 22 minutes from 95th to downtown. And outbound, no delays at all. Traffic's a service of Account Temps. With summer vacation plans quickly approaching, do you find your accounting team short-staffed? At Account Temps, they offer professional temporary accounting and finance support when your employees head out for summer break. Call today or visit AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answers next, but now the forecast. A service of AirComfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm, and humid, low 71. Clouds and sun tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around, warm and humid, high 86. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Lakefront 72 degrees, Midway 73, 69 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I was very viciously attacked, as you know, on the stage, and I was surprised to see it. And so all I did, I have great honor and great feeling for his son, Mr. Khan's son. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a hero.
You can attack women, you can attack minorities, you can attack Muslims, you can attack judges, and nobody can question your caliber, your lack of empathy, and you want to be commander-in-chief.
Do you think he should apologize, as these Gold Star families are asking for him to do, Mr. Trump?
No, I don't. That's what he believes.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Why can't Hillary stop lying? This piece by Ron Fournier, our friend.
Oh, yeah.
From the National Journal, this piece appearing in The Atlantic. Fournier is liberal. Fournier writes in this piece, I'm angry at Hillary Clinton because I expect better. The country needs better. I say again, if Trump becomes president, the world will have Clinton to blame. Not a Trump fan. Not really a Hillary fan. In fact, Fournier has asked the best question of the election cycle so far. I'd love to see this put to Hillary Clinton in a debate, like one of those forthcoming debates, like starting September 26th, if they can get around the Falcons and Saints game.
Maybe you could tweet it to whatever moderator they choose.
Well, I will. I'll reiterate it. The question, what would the young Hillary Clinton that was on the Watergate investigative committee, the young attorney Hillary Clinton that was on that Watergate committee, what would she have to say about today's Hillary Clinton? I think that's a great question. I'd be fascinated to hear the response to that. Now, the only thing is it's been telegraphed, so I wonder if she's actually prepared, actually given that any thought or prepared for it. But Fournier writes this piece in the Atlantic, why can't Hillary Clinton stop lying? I think this is another case of the frog and the scorpion. But
are you the frog or are you the scorpion?
I'm neither, because I'm not providing any aid to Hillary Clinton. On Sunday, he's referring to her appearance on Sunday with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday, where he asked her many things we talked about yesterday, including about James Comey's statements as to her truthfulness when it came to the matter of her private email server and related issues. And Hillary Clinton said, quote, Director Comey said my answers were truthful, and what I've said is consistent with what I have told the American people. And Ron Fournier writes, that's wrong, and she knows it, which makes it a lie. Clinton is cherry-picking statements by Comey to preserve her narrative about the unusual setup of a private email server, wrote Washington Post fact-checker Glenn Kessler. And so Fournier goes on to just say, she had a good week at the convention, and she immediately, she's not the only one, but she also immediately moves into a blunder, goes back to her worst instincts to continue lying. And just to remind people what Jim Comey actually said, despite not choosing to refer Hillary Clinton for criminal prosecution, he made a very strong case why he should have, despite the ultimate decision. But again, what Hillary Clinton said, Director Comey said my answers were truthful. This is the important exchange between Trey Gowdy and Jim Comey several weeks back after Comey announced he would not refer for criminal prosecution, but appeared before the House Oversight Committee to answer questions.
Good morning, Director Comey. Secretary Clinton said she never sent or received any classified information over her private email. Was that true?
Our investigation found that there was classified information sent.
So it was not true?
Right. That's what I said.
Okay. Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
So that's
the truth.
That's what Hillary Clinton describes as, quote, Director Comey saying my answers were truthful. Okay.
That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 answers that were.
Is this true? No.
She had multiple servers. She had multiple devices, and she had classified information on those devices. And they didn't turn over all the emails.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And, despite the fact that she is a congenital liar, as she proves over and over again, and this is, a liberal like Ron Fournier saying it, so I'd love to hear from Hillary supporters on this. Despite that fact, Donald Trump in a bit of trouble right now if you look at the Gallup poll. There's an interesting poll that Gallup's been doing for a while. Are you more or less likely to vote for a party's presidential candidate based on what you saw or read about the party's convention? Now, saw or read is important because you can see something. If you just saw something, you may come away with a very different impression of the convention than if you read the coverage of it, particularly if you read the coverage of the Republican. But this is a survey they've done over time, so the Washington press corps has always been hostile to the Republicans, including to Donald Trump, and always favorable to the Democrats. So there is a longitudinal review of this. For the first time since Gallup has been doing this in 1984, and by a substantially wide margin, people are less likely to vote for Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, after what they read or saw about the Republican convention. For example, it's 36 more likely, 51 less likely. That's minus 15. To compare that to 2012, Romney, 40-38, plus 2. 2008, McCain, 43-38, plus 5. 2004, W, 41-38. 2000, 44-27, plus 17.
Was it possibly because he had the longest acceptance speech in 40 years? That went on and on, 76 minutes. I nodded off in the middle of it.
Yeah, I don't think that, I understand. I agree it was about 45 minutes too long, but I don't think, it's difficult to know what all of the causes are. But by comparison, by a 45-41, more likely for Hillary Clinton. Again, likelihood to vote for party's presidential candidate based on what you saw or read about the party's convention. Hillary comes out with a +4 after last week.
Because they had a star-studded affair.
And Donald Trump -15. Now, again, the race nationally, I don't want to dwell too much on these numbers. The race nationally is still basically a statistical dead heat. It's a dead heat in Pennsylvania. It's also a dead heat in Georgia, which is a bit unusual.
And Ohio.
Right, but that's
nationwide,
customary.
She's up 7%, but that's a natural bump after a convention, right?
And it could be I think it's a bit of a dead cat bounce too, which is
don't talk about dead and cats in the same sentence.
I knew you wouldn't like that. It's a political
You're
phrase.
You're so cruel. Why don't you just break my other foot?
It's a political phrase.
Yes, okay.
So I think the race is anybody's ball game. They're both equally unpopular. He is right now. It seems there's something different going on in Pennsylvania than has gone on in past election cycles, and so that changes the map slightly. Although right now the electoral map looks very much like it looked the past couple of cycles, if the election were held today, kind of thing. But yeah, it's very volatile. But it's just interesting people's impressions. I thought it was a fairly successful campaign, despite Donald Trump's excessively long acceptance speech. But Gallup finds people came away less inclined to vote for Donald Trump.
Is that because it was a little nasty with Chris Christie and the guilty or not guilty? I mean, I know that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And particularly women.
I think it has a lot to do with the principle. When people, this is more or less likely to vote for the candidate, you're making an assessment of the top of the ticket. You're making an assessment of Trump and Clinton. Now, are there contributing factors? Of course. But it's really an assessment on the individual. And despite, again, Hillary's profligate lying, Trump is doing a nice job of buoying her electoral chances. Greg and Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
And Dan, to pick up exactly on the point that you're at right now, I agree with you. And the thing that really disturbed me is you did an upstream person on the street right after all of the last email blitz kind of hit.
Yeah.
I was amazed at the people on the streets of Chicago that were siding with Hillary, and it was just kind of like a cross-section of all ages and both men and women. So it goes back to what you've been talking about all morning. It's the role of the news media in skewing things, and Trump's got to be super aware of this.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Greg. Yeah, that's a Follow the Logic segment we did on upstream-ideas.com. If you want to watch it, man on the street interviews with Chicagoans about the Hillary Clinton email scandal. And the interesting,
what did you find?
Well, the interesting thing is people who say what they know to be true, right? If it was me or you, do you think we would have been prosecuted? And people say, yeah. Did she lie? People say, yeah. Are you still supporting her? Yeah. And so kind of the conclusion is, for the people who lament that politicians are above the law, certain politicians are above the law, think they're above the law. Maybe they think that way. Maybe they're treated that way because we allow them to exist above the law. And isn't that the case with Hillary Clinton? I go back again to say this is a repudiation election. So is the last 25 years of the Hillbilly House of Cards and the last 8 years of the Chicago Way being scaled nationally, is that something you want to repudiate more so than you want to repudiate Donald Trump's coarse language and thoughtless remarks and dubious business practices? I guess which category has been most impactful on your life in a negative way that you would want to repudiate? Donald Trump's antics and business conduct, or what the Clintons have done in public life and what they've been a part of for the last 8 years that they want to extend for 4 more or 8 more? To me, that's kind of the question people have to ask. Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. The Chris Wallace interview on Sunday really just it puts a spotlight on why candidates and Fox News in general should not be interviewing Democrat candidates, because there is no doubt in my mind that Chris Wallace would have loved to follow up that statement with, but Comey said that in reference to your answers on Saturday during that interview. He did not say that about the investigation. You did lie, according to Comey. But Chris Wallace was likely given specific instructions by her camp that if you come after her on that, you will never get another interview, nor will Fox News. They threaten them. That's the way that the Democrats, that's the way all politicians do.
That's right.
They put things out of bounds, and that's why Wallace couldn't follow up.
Well, I don't know that that's true. I don't think nobody knows if that's true. Thanks for the call, Randy. But there's certainly what Randy's talking about, the idea of conditioning interviews. And these are, you can ask these questions, but no follow-ups, kind of the back and forth of setting up an interview with a high-profile person and the rules of the game.
Yeah, they put
that,
parameters
of course,
on
happens.
them. That always happens.
Yeah.
Well, they say, we'll allow you this interview right after she wins the convention, locks in the nomination, but these are the questions that you can ask.
And these are topics that are off limits. And so on.
And they I'm sure, and this is conjecture on my part, but Monica Lewinsky, I'm sure, is off that, cannot be asked.
Where has Monica Lewinsky been? I was hoping she'd make an appearance at the RNC.
I think she might star in the opening ceremonies at the Olympics.
It was interesting, though, because, she telegraphed early on in this cycle that she was going to be more active in trying to derail Hillary Clinton, but she's kind of been absent.
Maybe it was something about Benjamin Franklin's.
I don't know, but I miss her. I'd sure like to see her again.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe she'd show up at the RNC, but no.
Maybe with Bernie supporters. That would have dovetailed nicely.
Yeah. Here's your forecast for today. We're going to be seeing some clouds and some rain. By around 11 o'clock this morning, it begins on and off. Some thunderstorms as well throughout the day. A high of 84 degrees. Then tomorrow, a spotty thunderstorm, a high of 87 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's it going out there, Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte?
Thanks, Amy. Well, we're starting to see some times build. Edens, though, that's still good. 19 either way from Lake Cook into the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy inbound slows from the O'Hare extension to Foster. It's 27 in from O'Hare to downtown. And still just 10 from Montrose, though. 8 in the express lanes, back out a 26-minute ride. On the Eisenhower inbound, that's getting heavier. 43 minutes in Thorndale to the post office. Slows from Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue. Outbound from Harlem to Des Plaines Avenue. 30 out to Thorndale. Stevenson in is jammed already. 55 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Heavy in a few spots. Outbound still wide open. Dan Ryan in is 25 minutes from 95th to downtown. And no outbound delays. 57 in, heavy from 119th to the Ryan. It's 25 in from 80. And Bishop Ford inbound slows from 103rd into the Ryan. I'm Al Verdi in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Oh, the rootin' tootin' timeless fun of the Old West is waiting for you and the kiddies at Donley's Wild West Town in nearby Union, Illinois. Wild West Town is a perfect day out for families with children ages 3 to 12. All rides and attractions are included in one low admission price. Pony rides, the Runaway Mine Car roller coaster, gold panning, a canoe ride, a Wild West stunt show that's amazing, are just some of the fun and hands-on activities that await you and the kids. Go to 560theanswer.com/wild for your discount coupons. Wild West Town is a perfect place for a child's birthday party, too, and for group outings. And grandparents, this is a great day out for you and the grandkids. You won't believe how much fun you're going to have. And grandparents, guess what? You receive free admission on Mondays and Tuesdays with a coupon from 560theanswer.com/wild. Wild West Town is located 45 minutes northwest of O'Hare Airport, just off of I-90. So round up the gang and head out to Donley's Wild West Town in Union, Illinois.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free. Guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, SAUL.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
AM 560, The Answer.
So did you have to pay your property taxes yet? We're all doing it on the block, and no one's happy.
What are you talking about? All your liberal friends aren't happy? Why not?
Because their property taxes went up and up and up to pay for police and fire pensions, to pay for our politicians' mistakes. And now we're learning this morning, and this makes me sick, that a number of the aldermen, Dan, their property taxes aren't going up. And in fact, 5 aldermen, their property taxes went down. And you know why? Because they're all friends with Joe Barrios and in the Cook County Board of Review that they got them to...
Well, he's the assessor now.
He's the assessor, to lower the estimated value of their homes or condos so that their property taxes went down. 5 aldermen, including Patrick O'Connor. You know, he's the city council floor leader who rounded up the votes to pass the tax increase. Oh, must be nice to be him.
Anybody can appeal their property taxes, of course.
Alderman Nicholas Spazzato. Oh, yeah. Do you know how many times I've tried to lower my property taxes? It never works.
You should hire Madigan and Getzendaner. Then it'll work.
Really? Should I do a little? You think that they'll help a sister out there, do you?
Yeah.
So he's going to pay $307. This Alderman Spazzato, 38th Ward, he's going to pay $377 less than he did last year.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the deal. We pay the highest property taxes in the nation, and it's only going up. By the way, $750 million increase in property taxes last fall to present from Tiny Dancer and his band of trained SEALs there that you were referring to on the city council. Now he is proposing a utility tax increase, city utility tax increase, so you get ready to pay that too. He needs that to shore up a municipal employees pension fund with $19 billion in unfunded liabilities, although this is no matter how much he increases the utility tax, it's a drop in the bucket in terms of what's required to make the pension funds actuarially solvent or actuarially stable.
Oh my gosh, you're having a blonde moment over there. Are you okay?
So there's that. And by the way, since 1990, property taxes in Illinois have risen 3.5 times faster than the Illinois median household income.
The only good news is Mayor Emanuel. We are in the same ward, in the 47th ward. His property taxes went up because Barrios decided that his home is worth $1.1 million, which it's worth so much more than that, which was up from $946,000.
Yeah,
so his property tax, $20,513.
I take no solace in that. Here's something else, a related story. For all of those who cheerleaded Obamacare and who cheerleaded the eponymous schemer that came up with it, Illinois insurers seek premium increases of up to 45%. Health insurance premiums for Illinois residents who buy coverage through the Affordable Care Act's marketplace, quote unquote, could increase by as much as 45% according to proposals that were submitted by insurers, leading insurer, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that were made public yesterday. 45% increase in your premium, increase in your utility tax, increase in your property taxes, all to just push off adult decision-making for just a little bit longer to see if the same ruling class Pauls that you continue to support, that you continue to snow you as they've snowed you for 100 years in the city and 40 years in the General Assembly, can do it one more cycle. Let us just get past November, and then we'll do the same thing after November until it all comes crashing down.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Geico applauds your inner ride leader.
An enthusiastic engine rev goes out to the biker in you who leads the pack. Even if that pack is a party of one, you're still a leader to Geico. To prove it, Geico will insure your motorcycle with great rates and 24/7 customer service. And with Geico by your side, you're never cruising solo. Which means you've just been nominated as a real ride leader. Congrats! The smell of fine leather and trailblazing is in your future.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com and save even more with promo code BRILLIANT. LegalZoom.com.
I love talking about this product. It's so simple that it's genius. In only 2 hours, it transformed the darkest room in my home. Of course, I'm talking about a Solo Tube. You've heard me and the Solo Tube and the amazing technology. It's a simple little roof dome, captures that sunlight, then super reflective tubing transfers the sunlight into brilliant daylight that fills your room. It takes only 2 hours to install, And there are a lot of beautiful options to choose from, and it's affordable. Prices start under $800. It's natural lighting that truly brightens the darkest room in your home, and it seems so much larger. I highly recommend you brighten your home with natural light using Solo Tube daylighting systems. Call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros. That's a Solo Tube premier dealer. For your free consultation, call her at 844-789-SHINE. Mention me and receive $75 off your first Solo Tube. That's 844-789-SHINE, or visit ChicagoSkylightPro.com to view my video and see the amazing before and after pictures. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com, ChicagoSkylightPros.com. Hey, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Libyan airstrikes, why now? We'll ask KT McFarland at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go, saying good morning once again to Dave Stewart, who's in for Mike Scott.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. It's 69 degrees in Chicago, 633 on AM 560, The Answer. Partly sunny, high 84 today. Donald Trump's running mates praising the fallen Muslim-American soldier whose family's been trading barbs with Trump. At a town hall event in Nevada, Mike Pence was confronted by the mother of one military member who asked him how he tolerates what she called Trump's disrespect.
Time and time again, Trump has disrespected our nation's armed forces and veterans, and his disrespect for Mr. Khan and his family is just an example of that. Will there ever be a point in time when you're able to look at Trump in the eye and tell him enough is enough?
Pence said the late Army Captain Humayun Khan is an American hero who should be honored along with his family. Donald Trump, meanwhile, continues to bash the media, this time the New York Times.
The New York Times is so unfair. I mean, they write 3-4 articles about me a day. No matter how good I do on something, they'll never write good. I mean, they don't write good. They have people over there like Maggie Haberman and others. They don't write good. They don't know how to write good.
Trump's grammatical misstep prompted immediate criticism from his opponents. Chicago police say two gunmen carjacked an Uber driver's car this morning on the south side. Police say the driver was picking up two passengers in the 3100 block of South Lakeshore Drive when another car pinned him in, and two men with guns forced him from the car and robbed his two passengers. One of them was slightly injured. City Inspector General says the Independent Police Review Authority has no record of looking into 6 police shootings in recent years. IG Joe Ferguson's latest report finds IPRA has no record of shootings from 2007 to 2014 in which officers fired their guns but didn't hit anyone. In sports, it was the Cubs over the Marlins 5-0. Kyle Hendricks pitched a complete game. Cubs host the Marlins today. Sox are in Detroit tonight. The news, a service of ADT.
ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard. It's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com.
AM 560 News Time, 6:35. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher can't believe what's happening to the Clinton campaign.
But you want to hear how goofy the Democrats are right now? They want to blame the Russians for the WikiLeaks stuff. Here's the Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook, on CNN.
The Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump. I don't think it's coincidental that these emails were released on the eve of our convention here. We also saw
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Go to BuffaloWildWings.com to reserve your draft party at one of their locations. B-Dubs caters to your needs as a fantasy football fanatic. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
6:37, a check of the roads from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, and here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Right now, the Edens inbound slows a bit between Cicero and Montrose. It's 22 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Outbound is wide open. Kennedy inbound up to 30 minutes now from O'Hare to downtown, back out a 34-minute ride. Eisenhower in is heavy, 56 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, 40 in from Mannheim, and on the outbound trip, that's 38-minute ride. Stevenson inbound, that's backed up as well, an hour 5 already from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and 50 minutes in just from the Tri-State. Outbound Stevenson, that's 42 to 355. Dan Ryan in is 25 from 95th to downtown. No outbound delays. 57 in heavy from 119th to the Ryan, 25 in from 80. And Bishop Ford in slows from 103rd to the Ryan, 20 in from 8094. Traffic's a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, Napa Full Synthetic Oil's on sale for a great price. Keep your ride running longer, stronger for less. That's Napa know-how while supplies last. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Today, partly sunny, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 71. Partly sunny again tomorrow with a possible thunderstorm and a high of 86. 69 degrees at Chicago's airport. Next news at 7 o'clock. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Obama spoke before the Disabled American Veterans Convention, and he's, tired of people trash talking our military. That's what he's tired of.
Something else about this generation. As Commander-in-Chief, I'm pretty tired of some folks trash talking America's military and troops.
And let me tell you what he's going to do about it.
And we're going to keep him doing everything we need to do to improve readiness and modernize our forces.
Yeah, improve readiness and modernize our forces, because that's what people are actually discussing when they suggest the military is in disrepair. It is not an attack on military service members, of course. President Obama offering his customary disingenuous defense of an argument that isn't being offered. And retired Lieutenant General from the Air Force, who heads an aerospace institute now, Lieutenant General Deptula, was at an American Enterprise event talking specifically about the Air Force. Here's how he characterized the Air Force in which he served and reached the rank of general.
The bottom line is we're operating a geriatric Air Force. We have fighters that are 55 years old, tankers that are just as old. We're operating training aircraft that are 40 years old. Our fighters and helicopters are 30 years old.
He went on to say, just to provide a bit of comparison, average age of Air Force aircraft, 27 years. By comparison, commercial aircraft, 10 years. This is what the discussion is in terms of our military preparedness, the resources devoted to make sure that we have the capacity to deal with all of the external threats that we face and to fulfill our role as the world's one superpower. And President Obama doesn't want to address those issues. But someone who does is our friend K.T. McFarland, Fox News national security analyst, who joins us now. K.T., thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning. So before we get to Libya, what about the president's remarks, kind of his rah-rah speech at that Disabled American Veterans Convention, where he kind of glosses over the very real concerns that have been expressed about our military preparedness?
At this point, Dan, I don't listen to him anymore.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Lame duck president, weak lame duck president, and throughout his presidency, his deeds have never matched his words. His words sound terrific, but he doesn't. There's a complete disconnect. So when he says, we're going to do readiness, are you kidding? He's gutted readiness in the budget. When he's talked about the honor, I don't like to trash talk the troops. Okay, fine, but what have you done for the troops? You've put them into wars that they can't win. You've taken the sacrifices they've made in the Iraq War, which may have been a disaster, but by the time you inherited it, when it was handed off to you, it was a victory, and you seized defeat from the jaws of victory, and now you're just tossing American troops into Iraq, into Libya, into Syria, into Afghanistan, not with any intention of winning or doing what it would take to win. No, you don't want to do that. You just don't want to lose. You just don't want to have it on your record. You want to be able to leave your legacy and tell the American people, and I guess the historians and the people you hang around with at the faculty clubs, look, Bush started these wars and the next guy lost them. Me, I had a clean record.
And so is this what he's doing in your estimation with the drone strikes in Sirte in Libya?
Yep.
So do you think this is arrogance or laziness or just...
I think it's just a completely different worldview. Amy, here's the thing. There is a worldview, and that's what I think the election really is about. And if it doesn't sort itself out this election, it will in 2020. And it's two very different worldviews of America's place in the world. I think the progressives, the Democrats, the liberals, the Obamas, the Clintons, they think that America has not been a force for good in the world. They look at America and say we're polluting the planet, we're responsible for global warming, we're responsible for wealth inequality, we're responsible for poverty at home and abroad. We started wars. We're not necessarily good guys, and they usually harken back to slavery at some point. The other side of it is that America has been a force for good in the world, and American global leadership has made the world a better place. And when America steps back from global leadership, you have the chaos that you now have today. So I think that's what the worldview of President Obama is. If America would just step back from its disastrous leadership, then somehow other nations would step forward and we'd live in some global international rules-based order and kumbaya and we'll all live in world peace. Unfortunately, it's proven absolutely wrong.
Yeah, that kind of have a Coke and a smile foreign policy. So here's a question going back to the faculty club you mentioned. Stephen Cohen, who's a deep thinker at Princeton and NYU, he sort of rallied to the defense, surprisingly, of Donald Trump over the weekend on CNN when the matter of Donald Trump's relationship with Putin and Russia has been raised, and the intimations and, frankly, explicit statements by the Clinton campaign surrogates that Donald Trump is some kind of double agent for Putin.
I know. He's a Manchurian candidate.
Right. And Stephen Cohen said, actually, he went beyond that to dismiss that as silliness, but he said he said that we're kind of on the cusp of a new Cold War, and Trump is trying to move U.S. policy away from such a confrontational posture to one that is more conciliatory is perhaps the wrong word, but at least one that more engages Russia so as to derail the possibility of a new Cold War. Is that an assessment you agree with?
Yeah, I look at the world today and say we're in a very similar place than we were in 1980, where the conventional wisdom isn't working. I mean, look at the last 15 years of American foreign policy. I don't think anybody thinks it's a success, except for maybe the people who are directly involved and they can't admit their failures. Iraq and Afghanistan are wars we lost. The global economy is not to our advantage. Europe is falling apart. Russia is becoming expansionist and pushing its weight around again, and China wants to grab as much of the South China Sea and world trade as it can. So I think we're at a point where time to rethink this. And how would you rethink it? Well, we've been tethered to the Middle East for decades because we've needed their oil. We don't need their oil anymore. That gives us options we didn't have in the past. On the other hand, global Islamic Jihad is now an international global movement, and it wants to destroy Western civilization. That's a new challenge, but yet the way we've dealt with it in the last 15 years has been a failure. It's spread despite our efforts. Where Bush said we're going to fight him over there, so we don't have to fight him over here. Obama went in, he went out, he went in, he's now out. That hasn't worked either. And at the same time, we see a growing China, economically dominant, mostly because it steals our intellectual property, and a Russia that's trying to maybe start a new Cold War. So I think it's time to rethink it. And maybe one of the ways you rethink it is to figure out how to deal with the Russians where we cooperate over what we have in common, which is to defeat global radical Islamic jihad against us all, and then maybe give them something, but to get something back, which is hands off Europe. So I think there's a possibility of a potential grand bargain where we rethink a lot of our relationships. I don't think Hillary Clinton will do it. Will Donald Trump? He has the opportunity. Will he do it? Who knows?
Yeah, but Donald Trump said on with George Stephanopoulos that Russia is not going to be taking over Ukraine.
Well, I would
and how
think
does
that
he
would...
allegedly know this information?
Well, I think what he's saying, what the implication was, and I looked at that interview several times to figure out what was, I think the way he was saying it was, look, Crimea, Russia already has Crimea. It's had it for 2 years. You don't get that back. But if I'm president, I'll find a new way of relating to Russia so that it does not go back into Ukraine. To me, I don't think the Russians are going to go back into Ukraine or try to take all of Ukraine. I think what the Russians have their eye on are the Baltics. And I think maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to watch what the Russians do because Putin likes to do stuff during the Olympics.
And
that's right.
Yeah, even when he's not hosting it. And
he's mad now because the Russian track and field aren't there. They've been banned because of doping.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I mean, we've had our Lance Armstrongs. He has his entire team. So
a third of them got to go.
So, just going back to Trump, though, in this area of foreign policy, since, the question of temperament and some of the statements he's made and the elliptical way in which he speaks about some of these matters, Trump's statements about NATO and, even kind of foreign affairs wonks would suggest that it's okay to ask the question, what's NATO's role in the 21st century and does it need to be updated and changed and rethought and reconsidered and relaunched? What is your assessment of what Trump has said about NATO and NATO's importance to our nation's overall national defense?
Well, again, I went and looked. I mean, I saw the headlines like everybody else, which made it sound like he was pulling out of NATO. But I went and read what he actually said, and he said at the very beginning, look, the countries aren't doing their fair share that they've pledged to do. And at the end of the sentence, he said, but I believe in NATO. Now, the mainstream media took off the I believe in NATO part and just focused on we're thinking of pulling out of NATO because they're not doing their fair share. Presidents of both political parties, including President Obama, who's called the European members of NATO freeloaders, there's even a word for it. It's called burden sharing. They have not done their fair share. Now, nobody's been able to figure out how to get them to do their fair share. So maybe the threat of rejiggering NATO or questioning our commitment to it, maybe it'll get them to ante up and to do what they have the ability to do, but they've just refused to because they figure, well, America's been the main force in NATO for so long, we'll just let them keep doing that, even though the economic situation and power of Europe has grown considerably since the first NATO treaty was agreed 65 years ago. So maybe Trump has to, and maybe this is a good negotiating strategy. Nothing else worked.
All right. She is KT McFarland, Fox News national security analyst. KT, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We have a Christian ad coming up and what you think about it. Right, Dan?
No, we don't because there's an offensive word in it.
Oh.
We'll tell you what that offensive word is.
Yeah, the offensive word. That was the name of your high school band, right? Today we're going to have cloudy skies.
Toto cover band.
70 degrees right now, going up to a high of 84 degrees, but watch out, there's going to be a thunderstorm and rain on and off throughout the day, starting around 11 o'clock this morning. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to have thunderstorms and a high of 87 degrees. Let's go into the traffic center and say good morning to Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. On the Edens, inbound traffic is building. It's slow from Toohey to Montrose, 28 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Outbound trip only 21 minutes. Kennedy in is 32 from O'Hare to downtown, 35 back out to the airport. Eisenhower in is stacked up already, 64 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, 47 in from Manheim, back out to Manheim 28 and out to Thorndale a 43-minute ride. Stevenson inbound heavy as well. It's an hour 7 from 355 into Lakeshore Drive. 50 in from the tri-state. And on the outbound trip to Cicero, it's 18, 32 out to the tri-state, 42 to 355. Dan Ryan is 27 into downtown from 95th, no outbound delays. 57 inbound slows from 119th to the Ryan, 25 in from 80 to the Ryan. Tri-State, let's see, northbound heavy from the Stevenson to Hinsdale Oasis, then again from Reagan Memorial to the Grand Avenue Curve. I'm Al Verdi in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs, Gawker's founder, filing for bankruptcy. Updates on consumer spending and motor vehicle sales. Verizon reveals another big deal. Those stories are next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually see them. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993 or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Wall Street investors focusing on economic reports on personal income, motor vehicle sales, and the Red Book on consumer spending. All possible signs as to where the economy might be headed. Gawker Media CEO Nick Denton in Manhattan federal court filing for personal bankruptcy. In June, a court awarded pro wrestler Hulk Hogan $140 million in a lawsuit that included personal resources from Denton himself, leading to his bankruptcy. Another big move by Verizon, the company to spend $2.4 billion to buy Fleetmatics. That's a firm making fleet management software used by cable companies and energy providers. Verizon just recently announced its $4.8 billion purchase of Yahoo. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. In a 2004 interview on the topic of his faith, Obama was asked for his definition of sin. He answered, being out of alignment with my values. Obama told us in 2004 he was his own God. Obama signaled his belief that he is above the law, but the GOP failed to call the question and amplify his answer. Recently, Hillary was asked by Charlie Rose if what she did regarding her private email server was wrong. Hillary answered, quote, well, it was wrong because look what it has generated. Wrong only exists for Hillary when an act jeopardizes her inextricably linked political and financial interests. Hillary has already amplified the message that she, too, is her own God. In 2016, then, the GOP would do well to call the question, if you don't want America to become an autocratic theocracy, then you probably shouldn't vote for someone who thinks they're God, right?
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Amy, I want to read you an ad. You tell me what's wrong with this ad.
Okay.
Store closing sale, Cedar Springs Christian Store, Clinton Highway location. All merchandise, fixtures, slat walls must go. Sale through August 13th with the phone number. What's wrong with that ad?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because is it a Christian store? Does somebody have a problem with the word Christian?
Yeah. It's called being offended. That's an offensive word.
Christian is?
Cedar Springs Christian Bookstore in Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's the name of the store, though. Okay.
Yeah, they submitted a newspaper ad because they decided to close a second location of the store, so they're having a clearance sale. And they tried to place an ad in the Knoxville News Sentinel. It was rejected. Mrs. McGinnis, who is the proprietor of Cedar Springs Christian Store in Knoxville, Tennessee, phoned the newspaper, spoke with a classified ad employee. Quote, she said her ad did not run because it contained an offensive word. I asked what the offensive word was, and she said the offensive word was Christian.
Wow. War on Christmas, a war on Christianity now.
21st century America.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Here's some great news. Jack Taboda of Taboda & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Taboda & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Taboda of Taboda & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
There's a new answer for people in need of serious pain relief. Lidocare has created a one-of-a-kind pain relief patch that blocks pain for up to 8 hours. With the only non-water-based lidocaine patch on the market, Lidocare uses patent-pending technology to desensitize aggravated nerves for an odor-free, ultra-flexible, dry, and light solution to pain. The Lidocare pain patch from the makers of Blue Emu. For long-lasting relief you can wear. Available at CVS, Walgreens, and Amazon.
When you hear the word chiller, the first thing that pops into your mind may be a frozen drink from your favorite convenience store. If you run a business or you're a maintenance engineer, you know of a different kind of chiller, the mechanical one that keeps you, your employees, and customers cool in the summer. And with this summer predicted to be hotter than normal, you don't want to get stuck on one of those 90-plus degree days with no AC. Better call Air Comfort and get your chiller tuned up and running at peak performance. A professional inspection can find small problems before they become big problems, and proper maintenance can keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your AC is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to the director of a crisis pregnancy center about Rauner's decision to buck the Republican caucuses and sign a bill that eliminates religious conscience. That's at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Dave Stewart.
Thanks, Amy. Among the stories we're watching today, an Uber driver was carjacked this morning. We'll get that and other stories after an update from Fox News on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago. It's 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Getting a bounce in the polls from the Democratic Convention. Hillary Clinton also gets some help from a billionaire. Warren Buffett takes shots at Donald Trump for his business bankruptcies and for not releasing his tax returns.
He's not afraid because of the IRS. He's afraid because of you.
Buffett was at a rally in Omaha where Clinton said,
"For the life of me, I don't know why someone runs to be president of the United States who thinks and says we never win anymore. Our country is full of losers."
This as the Republican nominee keeps up his attacks. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Trump has a new nickname for Clinton, unveiled last night in Pennsylvania as he criticized Bernie Sanders' decision to endorse her.
If he would have just not done anything, just go home, go to sleep, relax, he would have been a hero. But he made a deal with the devil. She's the devil.
Trump also said yesterday at a rally in Ohio that he's worried about the November election because he fears the system is rigged. Trump is back on Twitter this morning calling Clinton a pathological liar. Last night he tweeted a picture of himself with a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Dave.
Rachel, President Obama says the days of waiting in long VA lines are over.
We're finally moving into the 21st century when it comes to helping our veterans. It's about time.
But he also told a Disabled American Veterans Conference more work needs to be done.
President Obama's administration has been battling problems with the VA for years, combating waiting list scandals and facing questions over whether or not to let vets see private doctors.
Fox's Kelly Wright. Pregnant women are told to avoid an area of Miami where 14 cases of Zika, the virus that causes birth defects, have been linked to local mosquitoes.
It's possible that the mosquitoes there are resistant to the insecticides that have been used.
Centers for Disease Control Director Tom Frieden. Pregnant women who've been to the area since mid-June are urged to get tested. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Good morning. 69 degrees in Chicago at 7:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm David Stewart. Partly sunny skies today. Look for a high of 84. Chicago police are investigating why last week's deadly police shooting on the south side was not captured on video. Officials confirmed that the body camera worn by the officer who shot Paul O'Neill did not record the incident. O'Neill family attorney Michael Oppenheimer.
We have also heard that the police department or the police took off their body cams or disconnected them. Either way, brand new cameras in the age of GoPro that do not work, when all of a sudden there is a police shooting where they execute a kid in the back of the head.
The shooting happened Thursday night after the 18-year-old crashed a stolen vehicle into two squad cars at 74th and Merrill. An autopsy shows he was shot in the back. Paul O'Neill's mother filed a federal lawsuit yesterday claiming the officers opened fire without justification. Chicago's top cop says more has to be done to keep repeat gun offenders behind bars longer. Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
What we have to do, we're doing a good job of arresting people and recovering these weapons, but we absolutely dropped the ball when it comes to holding people accountable.
Johnson spoke near the site where police recovered their 5,000th gun this year. Police say two gunmen carjacked an Uber driver's car this morning on the south side. Police say the driver had two passengers in the 3100 block of South Lakeshore Drive when another car pinned him in. Two men with guns forced him from the car, robbed his passengers, and then took the car. Mayor Emanuel is defending the city's massive property tax hike. The mayor said yesterday economic growth of the city could have been affected if the taxes weren't raised. The Chicago Sun-Times reports, meanwhile, that the mayor is considering a hike in the utility tax to further repair city pensions. And people in Illinois who buy health coverage from the Affordable Care Act could be facing rising costs. Chicago Tribune reports Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois is proposing increases on premiums of up to 45%. In sports, Cubs over the Marlins 5-0. Cubs host the Marlins today. Sox in Detroit tonight. News and service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Firestone Complete Auto Care celebrating 90 years of keeping cars running newer and longer. Visit your local Firestone Complete Auto Care and get a $70 prepaid card by mail when you buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. See store or driveafirestone.com for details. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. AM 560 News Time 7:04. We've got traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
It's back. The biggest conservative event in the Midwest returns this October. It's Freedom Summit Chicago 2016, October 29th in Itasca, featuring Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Mike Gallagher, Stephen Moore, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, Joe Walsh, and many more. Tickets start at just $29. Order your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Automated Systems Incorporated, Saul Z, and the Z Team, and by Best Dental Group.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss. Driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now.
It's National Make-A-Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com and save even more with promo code BRILLIANT. LegalZoom.com.
7:06. Check the roads now from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Let's take a look first at some of the area tolls. Tri-State northbound is heavy Archer to LaGrange, then from the Stevenson to Hinsdale Oasis, and again from the Reagan Memorial to the Grand Avenue curve. And there's an accident of the right shoulder of the westbound 290 exit ramp. That's got that really jammed up. On the Adams, eastbound traffic backs up between Beverly and Higgins. Reagan Memorial eastbound from Aurora Toll Plaza to Yola is heavy, and also from Route 83 to the Tri-State. And Veterans Memorial northbound hits a break 63rd to the Reagan, from Roosevelt to St. Charles Road, and from Army Trail to 290 it's backed up as well. On the Edens, in the meantime, 28 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 21 back out. Kennedy into downtown, 33, 50 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower's an hour, 4 into the post office and 44 out to Thorndale. And Stevenson, 65 minutes into Lakeshore Drive. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partial sunshine today with a high of 84, partly cloudy night low 71. Clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. Tomorrow, high 86. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm in spots with a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Lakefront and Midway 74 degrees, 72 officially at O'Hare. Next news 7:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I was very viciously attacked, as you know, on the stage, and I was surprised to see it. And so all I did, I have great honor and great feeling for his son, Mr. Khan's son. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a hero.
You can attack women, you can attack minorities, you can attack Muslims, you can attack judges, and nobody can question your caliber, your lack of empathy, and you want to be commander-in-chief?
Do you think he should apologize, as these Gold Star families are asking for him to do, Mr. Trump?
No, I don't. That's what he believes.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, on Friday, Governor Rauner signed a couple of pieces of legislation that a little bit controversial. One is decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana. It was previously the law that those caught with up to 10 grams of pot, it was a Class B misdemeanor that could result in up to 6 months in jail and fines of up to $1,500. That has changed. Under the new law, those caught with up to 10 grams of marijuana will face fines of $100 to $200.
I don't have a problem with that.
Here's the problem I have with this whole thing, and it's something I've said from the beginning. It's dishonest. Everything that Illinois does is dishonest, and the slow walk to full legalization has been dishonest from the outset. First, we're going to...
individual municipalities have been doing this for a long time. I remember Darien back in the late 90s, they decriminalized small possessions of marijuana. And I remember talking to the police chief, and he said, we can make more money off of, it was a revenue grab. I mean, really, but he said we can make more money off of that than throwing people in jail and having your tax dollars pay for their stay in jail.
Well, municipal ordinances don't trump state law, first of all. But, okay, here's the issue. The issue is, from the beginning, it's been a lie. The proponents of legislation like this have been lying. No. We just want to create these dispensaries and, kind of one per state police district. So I think there's 21 state police districts. It's for people with glaucoma. It's just medical marijuana. Right. And then the number of people who signed up initially was 1,000. So tell me exactly why you need 21 dispensaries for 1,000 people. You don't. So this was then the list of conditions for which you could receive marijuana for quote-unquote medical purposes expands. Then you have Tiny Dancer, decriminalized marijuana in Chicago. Now you have a state law essentially decriminalizing small amounts of marijuana. The point is that what the growers, those that got the licenses for the dispensaries, knew from the beginning was this is just a path.
Oh, right.
So be honest. The goal here is legalization, and let's have a debate about legalization rather than pretending you're doing it for the infirmed or you're doing it for to conserve police resources. Just be honest about the path we're on. This is very much like the whole redefinition of marriage path. No. Civil unions all we want. Come on. Make the fundamental argument and let's have a debate about it. Don't be low-rent liars. And that's what the political class is in Illinois. This is another example of it, regardless of your position on this specific piece of legislation. The other matter is a matter of religious conscience. This is Senate Bill 1564, which passed without a single Republican vote in the General Assembly. Every single Republican, pro-choice or pro-life, voted against this bill that Governor Rauner signed on Friday. And
what is it?
What it does is it eliminates the right of conscience for medical personnel. Medical personnel and pregnancy resource centers must refer for abortions and discuss abortion benefits with their clients. Must. There is no exemption for conscience, not to mention the discussion of the negative health effects of abortion, which are increasingly well documented. So
they have to discuss abortion benefits?
And refer for abortion, something that goes against religious belief. So you're decriminalizing pot while you're criminalizing religious belief. But that's not upside down. What the real world impact of Senate Bill 1564, signed into law by Governor Rauner? For that, we're joined by the executive director of Aid for Women, which is a Catholic life-affirming pregnancy center. I, in full disclosure, am a member of the advisory board of Aid for Women, so you can factor that in however you see fit. We're joined by the executive director of Aid for Women, Sue Barrett. Sue, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me on.
So there has been an immediate reaction to Governor Rauner's decision to sign that legislation I just described from pro-life groups, both from kind of a policy perspective as well as a practitioner perspective like yourself. And I wonder if you can explain to our audience what this legislation will do in terms of how your crisis pregnancy center operates.
Sure. So basically this law is telling us that we have to, when we're working with women and doing all the wonderful things we're doing, like offering free pregnancy tests, free ultrasounds, we're offering material aid, access to health care, and even housing. But in the course of all those wonderful things that we're doing, we also, if someone is still interested in having an abortion, we have to provide them with a referral.
So that starts January 2017?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I can just tell you that we refuse to do that. It's a violation of our conscience rights and our religious freedom. And so what we're going to be doing probably this week is working with our friends at Alliance Defending Freedom. And we're going to see what we can do to fight this.
So you mean filing a lawsuit? This is going to be litigated as was telegraphed by a lot of these groups prior to the governor's decision.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And like you said, Dan, let's be truthful. This is really about trying to put life-affirming pregnancy resource centers and physicians out of business.
And so, how would it do that? I mean, give us an example, if you will, of kind of how this works when a woman in need comes to Aid for Women or another crisis pregnancy center, what that conversation is like, and then how that conversation changes with this law.
Well, I would say that she finds us online. She comes in, we talk to her, we give her information about her choices. And then if, at the end of her appointment, she said, thanks, but no thanks, I still want to go forward and have an abortion. We would just say, okay, sorry, we couldn't be of more help to you. And what would happen then, since we refuse to refer for abortion, probably what they would do is try and go after our medical director's license.
Oh my gosh! And do you know who's going to be policing this to make sure that you're doing the right thing?
Well, probably someone will come in the day that this goes into law and, probably try and pretend like they're one of our clients and kind of trap us.
Yeah,
Wow.
trying to test you.
How
right?
is this like a direct attack on the First Amendment rights? What about your religious beliefs and your religious freedoms?
Well, we were founded in 1978 by a Roman Catholic deacon, and everything we do and everything we teach and represent is in line with the teachings of the church.
And Tom Morrison, state representative from Palatine, he delivered a pretty stern rebuke of the governor's decision. He writes, "The message delivered to Illinois citizens is that their religious beliefs and free speech rights do not matter. Under this law, medical personnel and facilities will have to follow an objection protocol that includes providing a patient with information about the risks and benefits of all legal procedures, regardless of religious or moral objection." And he goes on to say, pro-life physicians, nurses, other medical personnel do not and should not ever have to check their faith at the door when it comes to care for patients. So it's not only, in a sense, in a real sense, referring people for a procedure you find morally objectionable, but it's also referring people for a procedure you think, based on a lot of evidence, will do serious health damage to the individual.
Yeah, we can't truthfully say that, we think that this is the best thing for you to do is to go have an abortion, because there's no one who is affiliated with our organization who actually believes that.
So what's your next step? You said that you're going to be meeting with certain groups, and how soon until you file a lawsuit?
Yeah, I know. We're kind of leaving that up to the professionals there who are working and strategizing on what is the best venue to file. But we're probably going to see something happen this week, and hopefully, we'll just see. It's hard to say where this is going. We've seen this happen in California, and then what starts in California then makes its way to Illinois, and so we're seeing this happen in a couple other states. And just time will tell where all this will go.
And the pro-abortion organizations and ACLU cheered the governor's decision here. It's interesting because, of course, the governor ran on this idea he was going to have no social agenda. And I recall saying at the time,
that's right.
Here's the thing with that, when politicians say that.
It's just about the economy. That's what I remember hearing.
Yeah, well, you can have no social agenda, but if somebody else does have a social agenda, then what are you going to do about it, particularly as the chief executive of the state? And this is the case here, where legislation makes its way to Governor Rauner's desk, and he has to make a decision. So no social agenda doesn't work. You can call for an armistice the way that Mitch Daniels did in 2012 when he was considering running for president. Let's have a truce on moral issues. But if the other side doesn't want a truce, then that's not a truce, that's surrender. And so this is what we see playing out here, the idea of no social agenda is really no response, because the other side is very intent on having a social agenda. And then it puts kind of non-political operators like these crisis pregnancy centers in the crosshairs. And Sue Barrett, I wonder what your kind of community, not just Aid for Women, but people that are in the pro-life movement, people that operate crisis pregnancy centers, I wonder what they think of this idea of having kind of no social agenda, even if they are loath to become political.
Yeah, there's probably about 100 or so pregnancy resource centers in Illinois that are affected by this, and we talk about this continuously. I think this bill was crafted by Planned Parenthood and the ACLU, and to somehow think that pregnancy resource centers are preventing women from having access to the reproductive health care that they need is just a joke. So I just would encourage everyone to learn more about pregnancy help centers, what they do, support your local pregnancy help center, and hopefully we can just keep on just doing what we're doing what we've been doing for decades, and that's all we want to do.
All right. She is Sue Barrett, the executive director of Aid for Women. Sue, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sue. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine now. Enjoy it. 72 degrees at O'Hare, going up to a high of 84 degrees. It will be hot and humid, and rain's coming our way around 11, 12 o'clock this afternoon. And then tomorrow, some spotty thunderstorms. Again, a high of 86. Let's get those travel times. Are they high? Here's Al Verde with the answer.
Thanks, Amy. Well, Eden's inbound, that's better than it was. Just 21 in from Lake Out to the Kennedy Junction, 23 back out. On the Kennedy, inbound 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but 54 out to O'Hare. Then Eisenhower inbound, that's heavy, an hour 4 from Thorndale to the post office, 51 in from Mannheim. The outbound trip is 54 minutes. Stevenson inbound, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 53 minutes, 42 in from the Tri-State. Outbound, 40 minutes. 55 itself, that's moving well. Dan Ryan inbound is 25 from 95th to downtown. No outbound delays. 57 and Bishop Ford look good. No problems to report on Lakeshore Drive or Route 390 tollway. Tri-State southbound from Route 120 to Bradley, traffic backs up a little bit. Northbound, it's heavy from 111 to 31st, and again from Reagan Memorial to the Grand Avenue curve. And the West 290 exit ramp is jammed up with an accident on the right shoulder. I'm Al Verdi in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade, so many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common: Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online, masterfencerental.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been taking 4 a day of the fruits and vegetables, and I have hypogammaglomerulia. Basically, you have antibodies in your body, IgA, IgM, and IgG. And somewhere along the line, my body stopped making them. So I don't have any resistance to infection. But I've been taking fruits and vegetables since we started, which I think is well over a year now. And the doctor can't believe that I've not had infections and flus. And he told me, whatever I'm doing, keep doing. So that's what I'm doing.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Your child is growing up. High school is your last chance to choose who will influence your student, who will help guide your child on the path to adulthood. Take a moment to consider Luther North. Luther North College Preparatory School on Chicago's Northwest Side challenges students to develop strong values and leadership qualities as they set goals for the future. Luther North boasts small class sizes, broad extracurricular opportunities, and championship athletic teams. Is your student ready to pursue higher level academics through AP classes or Luther North's dual credit program with Concordia University? Does your child struggle with organization, time management, impulse control, or stress management? Luther North provides a grounded, faith-based environment where faculty and staff are focused on seeing and serving your student as an individual. It's time to consider Luther North. Learn more at luthernorthcollegeprep.org or call 773-286-3600. Scholarships and financial aid options are available.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about this, no social agenda when it comes to Governor Rauner. And Mitch Daniels telegraphed the same thing back in 2012, even though Mitch Daniels is pro-life and Governor Rauner's pro-choice. And it doesn't work out in practice because...
For either of those two men, it didn't?
You call a truce, the other side doesn't agree. That's not a truce anymore, it's surrender. And it's worth noting, we got a text on this, it's an important point to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Rauner, with respect to Senate Bill 1564, this religious conscience bill, he could have let the window for him to act on the legislation expire. He didn't have to put his imprimatur on the legislation. He could have just walked away from it.
Well, there's got to be something.
And he decided to sign it. So now he does have a social agenda.
Right, but
that's an affirmative act.
Is he getting something in return for signing this bill? Something from Madigan and his cronies?
No, this is a play. This is the tired old play from the tired old Republican establishment that's in the super minority, has been for a long time, is consistently lost to Mike Madigan. All the luminaries in charge of this party for 3 decades. It's the same old play. We have to be liberal to appeal to suburban women. We have to walk away from moral foundation to appeal to suburban women. Apparently, suburban women are all pro-abort and kind of without concern for underlying morality. I disagree with that notion. I know it's not true. I'm just telling you the philosophy of the Republican Party, and I'm telling you why the Republican Party in this state has been so moribund for so long. And frankly, the governor's election in 2014 was substantial. That was a positive event, and I'm still a supporter of most of the component parts of the governor's turnaround agenda. Make no mistake about it. I think he's done some good things. I think he's picking up some good fights, and I think he's changing the conversation, which is the pathway to change policy. But on this matter, he's buying into the failed and, frankly, what's the word? Certainly failed politically. I would also say the kind of mindless, amoral policymaking of the left that has infiltrated the Republican Party. The cowardice, really, of Republicans who don't want to do what they know to be true. Now, in this case, as I mentioned, every House and Senate Republican voted against this legislation that the governor signed. And by the way, that also has political implications because the governor wants to keep the caucus together on tough votes that some in different parts of the state have to take to support his turnaround agenda. Well, he didn't back their play here. And that probably will sow the seeds of some discontent down the road, but we'll see how that plays out. And by the way, too, and just in terms of this issue of abortion access in Illinois continues to be the abortion dumping ground of the Midwest, north of 40,000 abortions a year.
Really?
So the idea, as Sue Barrett mentioned when we spoke with her, the idea that women don't have access without forcing people to violate their faith is a canard. Greg in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hi, Greg.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, good morning. Got a question for you. This bill, does it have any geographic restrictions? Perhaps those of faith practice a little malicious compliance and refer people to, let's say, Florida abortion practitioners.
Very clever, Greg. Thanks for the call. Joe in Naperville.
Yeah, Dan, you got to learn that the aggressor always sets the rules in any engagement whatsoever in life. So Republicans need to learn that right off the bat. If not, they're going to fail in every endeavor. Anyway, I'm a physician in Naperville, and I do a lot of hip replacements. So the government's going to tell me I got to do a certain type of procedure for a hip replacement, even though I know that is not the best one for them. We've come a long way where abortions had to be done in alleys and the back of houses and stuff like that illegally. So now, as a OBGYN to practice, you have to do it now in the dark and in secrecy for the best care of your patient. It's pathetic.
Thanks, Joe.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Joe Walsh here. I am really excited to announce the official launch of the Million Constitution Challenge. We the People Prince, along with the generosity of my good friends at Uline, have a goal to put a museum-quality print of the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in every school across America. But here's the deal. We need your help to make it happen. For every print that you purchase, a second print will be donated to a school, a nonprofit, or veteran of your choice. And it only costs you $99. This is a beautiful, full-size replica of the documents that our nation was founded on, but you won't have to go to the National Archives, Library of Congress, or Independence Hall to see it. Log on to WeThePeoplePrince.com today to help them and our friends at Uline reach our million Constitution goal. That's WeThePeoplePrince.com. Do it today.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
Hey, we've got a major event announcement.
It's that time of year again. We have the lineup for Freedom Summit Chicago 2016 happening Saturday, October 29th. And the lineup this year is bigger than ever.
We're excited to announce that our keynote dinner speaker will be former Florida Congressman Lieutenant Colonel Allen West.
I love Allen West.
Yes, and our keynote lunch speaker will be Michelle Malkin. Also scheduled to appear our friend Stephen Moore of the Heritage Foundation and our brother in sound, Mike Gallagher.
And, of course, we'll be there as well. It's a full-day event, and there will be a full day of seminars on important public policy issues, grassroots activism, and organizing for victory in 2016. Seating is limited, so make sure to get your tickets today.
Just go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Tickets start at $29, and premium tickets include premium reserved seating and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So don't miss out. Sells out every year. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump says Hillary's the devil. Tell us something we don't know at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Dave Stewart, who's in for Mike Scott.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. 72 degrees in Chicago at 7:33 on AM 560 The Answer. Well, Donald Trump may indeed have a new nickname for Hillary Clinton. In Pennsylvania yesterday, Trump said that former candidate Bernie Sanders made a deal with the devil when he endorsed Clinton.
If he would have just not done anything, just go home, go to sleep, relax, he would have been a hero. But he made a deal with the devil. She's the devil. He made a deal with the devil. It's true.
The Trump campaign has been making an effort to draw Sanders supporters disillusioned with Clinton's nomination. She continues to surge in the polls after last week's Democratic convention. A new CNN ORC poll found her with a 7-point boost in a head-to-head matchup. Now with Trump, Clinton leads 52% to 43%. An attorney for the family of a man shot and killed by police in Chicago last week is demanding the release of all police video of the shooting. Michael Oppenheimer expressed skepticism upon hearing that the body cam of the officer who shot Paul O'Neill in the back wasn't working at the time.
How convenient that they don't work. If there is not a cover-up here, I don't know where there is.
O'Neill was shot as he fled from a stolen car on foot while being chased by police. City of Chicago will start testing the drinking water in homes on streets where the risk of lead contamination is the highest. The Chicago Department of Water Management said it will enlist volunteers to have their water tested before and after street mains are replaced. It is rare when a sitting Cook County Chief Judge is challenged, but that's what's happening this fall. Chief Judge Timothy Evans will face off against Thomas Allen, a former alderman who is a judge in Chancery Court. In sports, it was the Cubs over the Marlins 5-0 with Kyle Hendricks pitching a complete game. The Cubs are hosting Miami again today. Sox in Detroit tonight. The news service of Subway. Hurry to Subway to explore flavors from around the globe with Lay's Passport to Flavor chips. The creamy zip of Greek tzatziki, the spiky heat of Chinese Szechuan, exotic tikka masala, and even bold Brazilian picanha. Lay's Passport to Flavor chips now at Subway for a limited time. AM 560 News Time, 7:35. We've got traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager has an interesting look at the presidential candidates.
Over time, he has somewhat metamorphosed in my mind. I'm at the tentative place right now wherein I regard him as a sheep in wolf's clothing, and I regard her as a wolf in wolf's clothing.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's football season. There are plenty of reasons to be at Buffalo Wild Wings. 70-cent Wing Tuesdays and 70-cent Boneless Thursdays. Need a better reason than that? Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Roy Spencer and I came up with an amazing offer. If you purchase a home within Permaseal service area and a member of Team Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage secures you a mortgage to purchase the home, we'll cover the cost of the sewer inspection when the loan closes. Roy and I want to make sure you're purchasing a home without faulty or cracked sewer lines, which is expensive to repair. According to Roy, we're the only lender offering this outstanding service. If you're purchasing a home and want to take advantage of this outstanding opportunity, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
At 7:37, let's check the roads from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Inbound on the Edens, just 22 minutes from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, and 28 back out. Outbound slows from Montrose to about Toohey, and again from Dempster to Glenview. Kennedy in is 37, O'Hare to downtown. Heavy outbound, 54 minutes. And on the Eisenhower in, we're looking at an hour 6 from Thorndale to the post office, almost a full hour to get back out to Thorndale. Stevenson in a little better than it has been, 53 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 back out to 355. And Dan Ryan is 25 in from 95th to downtown, no outbound delays. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows a bit between 18th and the Stevenson. Tri-State southbound from Belvedere down to Bradley, traffic is slow. Traffic's a service of ADT. ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard. It's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Now your forecast, service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Today, partly sunny, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 71. Tomorrow, partly sunny, maybe a thunderstorm, and a high of 86. Right now, 72 at O'Hare. Next news update at 8 o'clock. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Running with the Hillary.
Running with the Hill Dog.
Oh,
no.
yeah. No.
Hill
The
Devil.
Cackler.
Her new name. Yeah, Donald Trump has a new name for her. And I don't know if I particularly like it. I wouldn't agree with his moves, but not a lot of things he's been doing lately I agree with.
Well,
calling a woman the devil?
Well, I
Or
mean,
the devil?
It was building upon the deal that Bernie made.
You know, this guy has buyer's remorse. He looked at that and he was so angry when they were talking about him, and his people are angry at him, and they should be. If he would have just not done anything, just go home, go to sleep, relax, he would have been a hero. But he made a deal with the devil. She's the devil. He made a deal with the devil. It's true.
Well, no, John Boehner called Ted Cruz Lucifer. So I mean, this isn't the first. This isn't the first time we've been exposed to devil talk in the this presidential campaign, which is kind of a foray into the occult.
Well, that was man on man. This one, the man does it to the lady. I don't know if it's a different kind of attack.
Oh, wait a
I'm sorry, I hate to
second,
get
feminist.
I hate to get gender involved in this, but
Different
if
rules.
you're trying to attract women to the Republican Party, maybe stay away from calling your female opponent the devil.
We might want to make one clarification, too, when
Yes.
we're this kind of females and women thrown around as this category like it's a monolithic group of people that all think the same or all have the same life experiences and so forth. There is a big difference between married women and single women.
Mm-hmm.
And it is single women that provide one of the mainstays of the Democrat coalition. Married women, not so much.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
Yeah.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. You could also text us at 64636. Type in DA, then a comment.
So after Trump was done with his Hillary seance, he went on to talk about the media and what they're going to need to do to get around the media and to the folks to win in November.
The biggest problem we have is we have a very dishonest media. We have a media that is so dishonest that no matter what, makes no difference. But these are among the most dishonest people you'll ever meet. These people, you know, I've had days where I said, boy, this was a great day. I look forward to seeing it tonight or tomorrow, and it's brutal. I say, what happened? But we're going to punch through the media.
Yeah, punch through the media.
What is he doing? I know he's mad at CNN right now.
Well,
he's given CNN a timeout, and he's not happy with George Stephanopoulos because he believes that that interview that he gave, he took it out of context and certain areas.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Maybe be a bit circumspect about doing an interview with Clinton Foundation donor Zero. Is he familiar with the Stephanopoulos relationship with the Clintons? Has somebody briefed him on the history there? Yeah, of course he's right about the Washington Press Corps. That's been the case from time immemorial. Again, going back to 1960, according to Gallup, 84 to 92% of members of the Washington Press Corps vote for the Democrat nominee for president.
Oh, I saw him crying in 2008 in the reporter pit. They were crying because Obama won. They were so happy.
Right. No, exactly.
Bawling. I was walking around with tissues for the people. Oh, don't let your mascara run.
And for those who think, oh, well, this is, just right-wingers complaining about the media and this and that. No, it's just built into the price. But let's just admit what it is. And my response to the left is always, okay, let me ask you a question. You think it would be different? You think the coverage would be different from all these media outlets, from the Gang of 500 inside the Beltway, if 84 to 92% of those individuals had been voting for the Republican candidate for president for the last 55 years?
It would be different.
Right. Of course it would be different. So let's just understand what we're getting and who's giving it to us. And by the way, the other thing that Trump said about some of the most dishonest people, I've said this before. We had this conversation. Just my limited experience dealing with the media and also dealing with in the political world, it is very, very close in terms of which universe contains more people of ill repute, media or politics. Now, I have a foot in both, which
Yes,
means
you
I
do.
am the most
And you're an attorney.
disreputable person
Oh, sorry.
walking the planet upright.
Not an attorney. You went to law school.
I am.
You're an attorney.
I'm a doctor.
Oh, you
I have a Juris Doctorate.
really?
From now on,
Now I really hate you.
From now
I
on-
loathed you. Now I despise you.
From now on, you may refer to me as Dr. Prof.
Dr. Prof. Hey, Dr. Prof. Can you help me with a prescription?
The doctor
for
is
pain?
in. Yes, I can help you by showing you the light, young lady. On the matter of Khan,
Don't say it. I know.
is it?
It's too soon.
Is it too soon
We
for
can't do the
Wrath
Khan.
of Khan joke?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that awful?
So Pat Smith was on CNN yesterday.
Mhm.
Pat Smith, Patricia Smith, the mother of Sean Smith, and a lot of people have made an issue of the disparate intensity of coverage of Mrs. Smith's remarks at the RNC as compared to the Khan family's remarks or Mr. Khan's remarks, I suppose, at the DNC. And then, of course, the firestorm that Donald Trump ignited. Patricia Smith was asked to react to what Donald Trump said about the Khans.
I think that anybody that loses a child should be allowed the grief that goes along with it. When you lose your child, that's all you can think about. And you shouldn't have anybody telling you that you can't think that way.
And she was also asked about Mrs. Khan's silence that night at the DNC.
Of course I can relate to that. When somebody cries over their child, like I have many, many, many times, that's what you feel. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that. That comes with the territory. I don't agree with Hillary, though.
And she went on a bit of a riff about Hillary. But the bottom line is I wish Patricia Smith had been consulted by Donald Trump because she could have tempered his remarks. She did, however, go on to say she was asked if Trump should apologize, and she said he should not.
Really?
She said she doesn't think so.
A lot of Gold Star families continuing their quest to get Donald Trump to apologize. And Donald Trump spoke with a local reporter last night in Pennsylvania while you were sleeping. And
I was not sleeping.
You weren't?
But you know why?
Right.
Because evil never sleeps.
There you go. And Trump claims that the cons are bothered by his policy against terrorism. But when he said that, it sounded as if the cons were terrorists.
You've talked a lot about border security as a way to prevent terrorists from getting into the United States.
It's a very big subject for me, and border security is very big. And when you have radical Islamic terrorists probably all over the place, we're allowing them to come in by the thousands and thousands, and I think that's what bothered Mr. Khan more than anything else.
Yeah, that's
it's a bit of a stretch, but of course, some on the left are claiming that. Oh, now he's calling the cons terrorists
or terrorist sympathizers. That's not fair. That's not right.
And it's not a right assessment of what's going on.
He's saying fairly clearly that Khan disagrees with what I've proposed in the realm of immigration. Mm-hmm. Fine. I mean that's a fair statement. It's a true statement. By the way, Khan is an immigration attorney. Mm-hmm. Immigration law attorney, so he helps people get visas, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Don't necessarily make the issue about Mr. Khan.
But the bottom line is Donald Trump is not going to apologize, and this issue just needs to go away.
Well, right, and
please go away.
And Mr. Khan has said yesterday that he plans to step away from the spotlight.
Okay,
that's good. Donald Trump should respect him stepping away from the spotlight by not putting him back in it. And get on to topics of conversation that are more relevant and helpful to his electoral prospects in November, I would suggest. Oh, let's go to Phil in Buffalo Grove.
Guys, I've always had a question about the media. You guys, one side blame the media and how horrible they are, but you never name them. It's like the politicians. Don't give the names out. But when we get upset with a school principal about something, we'll give a name and an address and a phone number. Why don't we do that for the media that are so bad? Why don't you give their names, their address?
A lot of them have used fake names. On a lot of reporters don't use.
Thanks for the call, Phil. I mean, I name names. I name names all the time.
Rachel Maddow.
Well, locally, how about Carol Maureen, Neil Steinberg?
Yeah.
I mean, I go on and on. And so we'll name names and, address, phone numbers. I mean, I think the address, phone number thing, the issue is who watches The Watchmen. And we do, and we'll name names. And I've taken a number of reporters to task, and people have taken me to task, and that's fine. But absolutely, who watches The Watchmen? Who covers the Fourth Estate, as it were? That's an important question. John in Waukegan.
I watched that interview Sunday that George Stephanopoulos had with Mr. Khan. And Mr. Khan is proclaiming the Constitution, how wonderful this country is, and they wake up every day, they're glad they're here. Why didn't Mr. Stephanopoulos ask the pregnant question, do you repudiate Sharia law? I think that would have been fair since he loves his country so much.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. He aborted that question just as Hillary would want him to.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hillary Clinton getting support from some old white men, and Buffett wants Donald Trump to release his taxes, and there's an offer on the table. We'll explain coming up next, but first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine right now. Some clouds and possible thunderstorm by this afternoon, actually late this morning. A high of 84 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Any sticky spots? Here's Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Well, we do have a couple, but not on the Edens. Edens in is just 22 from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, 28 back out to Lake Hook. Kennedy inbound is 36 from O'Hare to downtown. Outbound is really jammed up. It's an hour 1. And out to Montrose is 25 minutes. Then on the Eisenhower inbound, heavy again, 65 minutes Thorndale to the post office, and 63 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson inbound, very heavy again, 66 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 46 on the outbound trip. And Dan Ryan slows in a bunch of spots, 23 minutes from 95th to downtown, but no outbound delays. Lakeshore Drive southbound taps the brakes from 18th to the Stevenson. It's 18 minutes down to 67th from Jackson. Also, the Stevenson exit ramp is filled up. Tri-State southbound is heavy from Route 132 to Belvedere. Construction has the right lane closed there. I'm Al Verity in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Oh, I love it. My Solotube. It's so simple that it's genius. In only 2 hours, it transformed the darkest room in my home. Now, you've heard me talk about Solotube and this amazing technology. It's a simple little roof dome that captures sunlight. Then super reflective tubing transfers the sunlight into brilliant daylight that fills your room and makes it look 3 times larger. It takes only 2 hours to install, and there's a lot of beautiful options to choose from, and it's affordable. Prices start under $800. Now, the natural lighting truly brightened my room, and it seems so much larger. Again, I highly recommend you brighten your home with beautiful natural light by using Solotube daylighting systems. Call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros. That's a Solotube premier dealer, don't you know? For your consultation, call her at 844-789-SHINE, S-H-I-N-E. Mention me and receive $75 off your first Solotube. That's 844-789-SHINE, or visit ChicagoSkylightPros.com to view my video and see the amazing before and after pictures. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com.
The U.S. stock market's on the brink of collapse. World currencies will soon freeze and devalue, and gold will hit $10,000 per ounce. So says New York Times best-selling author and economist Jim Rickards in his latest book, The New Case for Gold. Hi, my name is Adam Barada, and I'm the managing director at Advantage Gold. Advantage Gold is on a mission to warn everyone about the massive risks facing all investors right now. And that is why Advantage Gold is giving away Jim Rickards' latest best-selling book absolutely free. Call 800-900-8000 right now to get your free copy. That's 800-900-8000. In this book, Jim explains how loose credit has created massive asset bubbles, why central banks are no longer able to prop up economies by taking on more debt, and why demand for gold will soon spike worldwide, driving the gold price to as high as $10,000. If you care about your financial future, please call now. 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. My name is Adam Barada. We are Advantage Gold, and your future is safe in our hands. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold has the highest ratings according to TrustLink, with a 100% 5-star rating.
I know many of our listeners own or manage growing companies. Your entire business depends on your phones. So if your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it means lost revenue. And so can an outdated phone system. The solution is a company that AM560 uses, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. AM560 appreciates how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as our business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. AM560 is thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-889-9090. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com.
AM560, The Answer.
Oh, this is awesome. So did you see it yesterday? Warren Buffett teaming up with Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, he's a liberal.
Yeah. And also Mark Cuban came out there to endorse her.
Liberal billionaires.
Yes, all the liberal billionaires.
So
Bloomberg, George Soros.
Interesting. All the billionaires turn out to be, not all, but most of the billionaires turn out to be men of the left, something that should be instructive to those who play the class envy game.
Well, the billionaire businessman had an offer for Donald Trump. Ready for this? Meet anywhere, anytime, to show me your tax return, which Trump said he won't release because he's under audit. But an audit does not preclude you from releasing your tax return. You know why? Because Warren Buffett's under audit, and he released his tax returns.
One point, and he's said it several times, is that he can't do it, can't release it because he's under audit. Now, I've got news for him. I'm under audit, too.
Good.
And I would be delighted to meet him any place, anytime between now and election. I'll bring my tax return. He can bring his tax return. Nobody's going to arrest us. It is not. There are no rules against showing your tax returns. And just let people ask us questions about the items that are on there. You're only afraid if you got something to be afraid about.
Mr. Buffett,
Yes?
Mr. Buffett, for that meeting, if I bring Trump's tax returns, will you bring transcripts of Hillary's speeches to the big banks? Because as you say, you're only afraid of something if you got something to hide. Right, Mr. Buffett?
Tremendous. You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Have you ever heard the phrase, money is the root of all evil? Philosopher Ayn Rand had the opposite view. She argued that money is the root of all good. She stood up for the value of money because, in her words, wealth is the product of man's intellect. Today's standard of living with our computers, cell phones, and life-saving medicines far outstrips the wildest dreams of the past. All this wealth had to be created by individuals, and money is what enables production. Money is your means of survival, a character in Ayn Rand's most famous novel, Atlas Shrugged, warns. The verdict you pronounce upon the source of your livelihood is a verdict you pronounce upon your life. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm your Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool?
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 67, so I'm old. I'm doing a job, a very intense job, physical. And I had a headache coming on through, my vision starts going. I was getting a headache, migraine. And I took 3 and 3 of those veggies and fruit. Right. And it disappeared while I was working in about 1 minute. Now, that's fabulous, because usually when I get a migraine, it goes into so hard I have to lay down. He has me on a hook here as to the value of the product. It's excellent. Don't change it.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll get Pam Geller's reaction to the Khan controversy, as well as proposals from Trump and other Republicans about what to do with Muslim-related immigration. That's at 8:08.
And later, there is a club that's coming to a high school near you, and it doesn't involve Christianity. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Once again, here's Dave Stewart, who's in for Mike Scott.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dan. Here are the stories we are watching today. Chicago police say the body cam of the officer involved in last week's shooting was not working. In other news, the city's top cop wants more prison time for repeat gun offenders. And also, Lollapalooza was more peaceful this year. In sports, it was the Cubs over the Marlins 5-0. The Cubs are hosting Miami once again today. The White Sox are in Cleveland. Look for a partly sunny day today with a high of 84. Time for an update now from Fox News on AM 560, The Answer, WIND Chicago.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Americans aren't usually warned to avoid a place in America
But that's the case in Florida, where pregnant women at risk from the Zika virus are urged to avoid an area of Miami. Fox's Evan Brown is there live.
Dave, the area is about 1 square mile in Miami, mostly in a neighborhood called Wynwood, which is known for trendy restaurants and artsy street murals. It's still open for everyone. This visitor from Massachusetts is listening to what her doctor told her.
Not to go out like late in the afternoon when it's getting down. That's when the most mosquitoes are there.
But health officials say it's not a good idea for pregnant women, as Zika will cause birth defects. Locals who visit there are asked to cover up and use bug repellent, Dave.
Eben, Donald Trump has a new take on all the controversy over Khizr Khan, the father of a Muslim soldier killed in Iraq, who criticized the Republican during the Democratic convention.
If I were president, his son wouldn't have died because I wouldn't have been in the war.
Trump's faced widespread criticism in his response to Khan's remarks. A fellow billionaire is taking shots at Trump's business record. Warren Buffett says in 1995,
if a monkey had thrown a dart at the stock page, the monkey on average would have made 150%.
But in that same year in Trump's Atlantic City hotels and casinos, Buffett says,
the people that believed in him, that listened to his siren song, came away losing well over 90 cents on the dollar.
That was at a Hillary Clinton rally in Omaha as the Democrat surges.
Well, just like Trump after the RNC, Clinton is now enjoying a post-convention bump in the polls after the DNC. A new survey from CBS News has her ahead by 7 points, 46 to 39. A week earlier, that same poll had them tied.
That's Fox's Kristen Fisher. Clinton's up by 9 in a CNN poll. If you forget to floss your teeth, forget it. The AP reports the government's quietly dropped the recommendation to use dental floss, and there's little research that shows flossing is effective. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Good morning. It's 72 degrees in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. I'm David Stewart. Look for a partly sunny day today with a high of 84. Chicago police say the body camera of the officer who shot and killed teenager Paul O'Neill last week wasn't recording at the time. It's not clear if it malfunctioned or just wasn't turned on as required by police department rules. O'Neill family attorney Michael Oppenheimer.
All we have asked for is that the truth come out. And now all of a sudden these brand new body cams don't work. So do I buy that? Absolutely not. We can guess a lot of things, one of which is that they turned them off.
Family is suing the city. Police say there is other video of the events leading up to the shooting last Thursday on the south side. One man killed, at least 11 people, including a 13-year-old boy, were wounded in shootings across the city just since late Monday morning. About 12:30 this morning, a 29-year-old man was shot to death in the Austin neighborhood by a drive-by gunman. Yesterday, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says more must be done to keep repeat gun offenders in prison longer. He says shooting victims are often those repeat offenders.
Nearly 85% of all of our shooting victims this year, both non-fatal and fatal, are on the strategic subject list. But until we get serious about holding repeat gun offenders accountable and keeping them out of our neighborhoods, we're going to continue to see many lives lost in the city of Chicago.
Johnson's backing a bill pending in Springfield to increase prison time for gun repeaters. The city says even though Lollapalooza was one day longer this year, 4 instead of 3, there were fewer arrests or citations giving out. 12 people were arrested. 268 concert goers were sent to hospitals Thursday through Sunday during the Grant Park Festival. People in Illinois who buy health coverage through the Affordable Care Act could be facing rising costs. Chicago Tribune reports Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois is proposing increases of premiums up to 45% next year. In sports, Cubs over the Marlins 5-0. Kyle Hendricks pitched a complete game. Cubs are hosting the Marlins again today. The White Sox off yesterday. They're in Detroit tonight. The news is a service of Target. Back to school's right around the corner. Target's got all the essential supplies and gear you need, including Cat and Jack. That's Target's new line of kids' apparel and uniforms, so you can confidently send them to school and beyond. Expect more, pay less. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, sponsored by Turnkey.pro. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Cosola.
From the Fox Business Network, Procter & Gamble, maker of Tide detergent, Bounty paper towels, Pampers, and many other products, says earnings improved in its fourth quarter. P&G's quarter was better than expected, though sales were weaker for beauty and home care products. Grooming and healthcare sales were up. P&G also makes Braun shavers and Olay skin products. Online business software company Salesforce.com is buying Quip, which makes programs that can use mobile devices. Salesforce is paying $580 $282 million in stock. Brett Taylor, one of the founders of Quip, previously worked on creating Google Maps and was chief technology officer for Facebook. McDonald's will no longer use corn syrup in its hamburger buns. The chain says it has also removed antibiotics from chicken ahead of schedule. The Dow dropped 27 points yesterday. NASDAQ was up 22. S&P down 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
AM 560 News Time, 8:05. We've got traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Sean Hannity can't believe the president is still bringing in Syrian refugees.
I said that if one person dies as a result of Hillary and Obama's policy, they'd have blood on their hands. I hold them responsible because they're not listening to James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Steinbeck, the House Homeland Security Chairman, and all these other people. They refuse to listen to them.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Thousands of people are choosing the flexibility of working when they want, driving with Uber. You'll control your day, plus be able to start earning right away just by driving your own car.
I've got 2 kids. They're both in summer camp, and I'll drop them off. Then I turn on the Uber app, the ride requests come in, and I'm earning extra money. Working when I want, being my own boss. Driving with Uber is definitely the best option for me.
Earn the extra money you need on your schedule. Get started today. Sign up right now. Go to uber.com/drive now. uber.com/drive now.
It's National Make a Will Month at LegalZoom.com, so it's time to take care of your will or trust. LegalZoom makes it easy. They're not a law firm, so there's no office visits or paying expensive hourly rates. Instead, you could save over $100 with LegalZoom's will or trust estate plan bundles. And if you don't know whether a will or trust is right for you, don't worry. You'll work with an independent attorney available in 48 states to get advice on what you need. Do the right thing this month at LegalZoom.com and save even more with promo code BRILLIANT. LegalZoom.com.
8:07, a check of the roads now from the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Right now, we've got some delays on the Edens. Inbound, not much. Just slow down from Elston to Montrose. But outbound is jammed to Winnetka Road. It's 36 from Montrose out to Lake Cook. On the inbound Kennedy, 53-minute travel time O'Hare to downtown and a full hour to get back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower in is an hour 10 from Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour 8. Stevenson inbound heavy, 55 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 45 to get back out. 55 traffic looks good both directions. Dan Ryan in 23 from 95th to downtown. No outbound delays. 57's moving well. Bishop Ford is wide open. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows from Belmont to North Avenue and again from 18th to the Stevenson. And northbound from Soldier Field to Jackson, Lakeshore Drive is backed up. Tri-State southbound is heavy from Route 21 to Belvedere. Construction has the right lane closed. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next. Now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm, and humid, low 71. Clouds and sun tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around, warm and humid, high 86. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Lakefront temp, 78 degrees, 77 at Midway, 76 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I was very viciously attacked, as you know, on the stage, and I was surprised to see it. And so all I did, I have great honor and great feeling for his son, Mr. Khan's son. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a hero.
You can attack women, you can attack minorities, you can attack Muslims, you can attack judges, and nobody can question your caliber, your lack of empathy, and you want to be commander-in-chief.
Do you think he should apologize, as these Gold Star families are asking for him to do, Mr. Trump?
No, I don't. That's what he believes.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, I want to get to the issue of the Syrian refugees, the 8,000 that have been designated for temporary protected status, allowed to stay in this country per Department of Homeland Security, and the Khan issue and related matters. But first, I mean, the rank order of priority, as you know, what I've always said, very much in John Kerry fashion, is the greatest public health epidemic that we face in this country.
Right now? Zika?
No, emojis.
Oh, emojis?
Yeah.
Really?
We need sensible text control because of this emoji epidemic. And I'm happy to report that Apple has responded. The gun emoji, the pistol emoji. Yeah. For its next iPhone and its iPad operating system, the iOS 10, the pistol has been swapped out for a green water gun.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And
it's a legal product, though, a gun is.
Well, so is a water gun.
Yeah.
I suppose.
It's easier to get a water gun.
Now, in France, they're not so interested in, just to continue on this topic, to explain the importance, the seminal decision that Apple made. Thank you, Tim Cook. What leadership. A French court actually ruled that a pistol emoji could constitute a death threat, sentenced a man to 3 months in prison for texting the gun emoji to his girlfriend. This is in France. This is the same France that has essentially been beset by a fifth column action by radical Islamists, as we've seen play out in horrific fashion, most recently in Nice. So just in terms of where the left is on public safety, we're focusing on emojis for texting. We're not focusing on people that want to impose political Islam, which is to say a totalitarian state.
Well, if they get rid of the gun emoji, they should get rid of the truck emoji in France, too, because he used a truck, not a weapon, to kill 72 people.
What about the knife emoji in Germany?
Yeah. Or the next. Well, I don't know.
And on and on. All right, to elevate this discussion past the silliness of Apple, we're joined by our friend Pam Geller. She is the president of the American Freedom Defense Initiative. Pam, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Amy.
So let's start with the decision by Department of Homeland Security, consistent with the president's policy. 8,000 Syrian refugees will be allowed to stay. I assume they have all been properly vetted.
Well, you can vet them. We know that the Islamic State has seized the passport machines in Syria and are creating legitimate documents for jihadis. I mean, they warned back in February of 2015, they warned Europe, they warned the West that they would be sending over an army via a migration. And as you saw in the subsequent months, the migration began. Now, of course, not all refugees are jihadis, but that's a ridiculous, intellectually dishonest premise. The fact is, would you eat from a bowl of M&Ms if you knew that any number of them were laced with cyanide? This is a very, very dangerous situation. And the idea that you can ignore it or deny it is partly, largely responsible for the fix we're in right now. I mean, there is a terrorist attack or a terrorist arrest or a thwarted plot. I think it's now every 83 hours in Europe. The only difference between Europe and the United States is that they're further along. That's what's going to happen here.
Well, when they do arrive here, is there any organization, any group besides our federal government, which I don't really trust right now, to monitor their actions?
No, but there are many groups that received enormous amounts of money to, quote-unquote, resettle these refugees, and that's part of the problem, and that's why you see, behind everything usually is money, and that's why you see these groups, and they're generally leftist groups, because this is how the left destroys the nation. There's a war going on. I mean, one only has to look at the world in 2008, before Obama got in, and look at it now, and it is a vastly different world.
And, to your point, as H.L. Mencken famously said, when somebody says it's not about the money, what they mean is it's about the money. And politics as the means to money, as the Clinton Inc. Operation has so poignantly provided evidence to support. So I want to ask you something about the games in Rio that kick off on Friday night. Reports out yesterday that ISIS has been translating their propaganda in Portuguese to try and recruit, radicalize Portuguese speakers in Brazil to try and disrupt the Rio Games with the terrorist attack there. And I know you follow this much more closely than most, and I wonder if you have any assessment or kind of what your level of concern is that ISIS or radicalized Islamists in the name of ISIS could potentially create a horrific event surrounding the Rio Games.
Again, in the name of ISIS, I just think that that's just wrong. I'm not being critical. It's in the cause of Islam. The Islamic State, Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, all of these hundreds of Islamic terrorist groups are all going by the same playbook, the Quran and the perfect example of Muhammad. As for the games, it's a target. It's a real target. There have been a series of arrests. They would love to target the games. And, of course, Rio, says they're not even sure they can handle the security threat because you don't know how they're going to come at you. It's interesting. They continue to morph and they continue to change. They're not necessarily looking for the big, let's say, 9/11 attack. These attacks in Orlando, in San Bernardino, in Dhaka, in Istanbul, in Brussels, in Paris, they're very effective in terrorizing a nation. And so if they can open fire in some very crowded venue, that's effective too. It's a real threat.
Pamela, do you think there's any possibility that some of the Olympic athletes are really ISIS members?
Oh, I haven't vetted them. It's an interesting question, Amy, because I believe now that, for example, in transportation, the real threat is not the passengers, the 6-year-old girls being, patted down and the 89-year-old nuns in wheelchairs. The real threat are these devout Muslims, jihadists, who are now working in, baggage claim, in maintenance, in security, behind the scenes. That's the real threat.
Don't go to Minneapolis' airport.
Yeah, and at the airports, we find out that this jihadist, one of these, this latest jihadist in Berlin, was working for in baggage handling 3 months ago. It's a time bomb waiting to go off.
I want to get your perspective on something that Newt Gingrich has proposed, and then we had yesterday on our show Paul Nealon, who's running in the GOP primary against Paul Ryan. So Gingrich, as you know, after the Nice attack, proposed this idea that we should somehow determine, with respect to Muslims in the United States, Muslims here legally, those who are Sharia compliant and those who are not, and deport those that are Sharia compliant. When we talked to Paul Nealon yesterday, he agreed with that proposal. He actually went a step further and suggested that we need to have a conversation about the deportation of all Muslims. Where do you come down on some of those perspectives?
I don't believe in the deportation of all Muslims. It doesn't have to get to this point. People are coming up with these sort of rash plans because it has gotten this far. It should never have gotten this far. Back in 2012, my organization announced an 18-point platform in defense of freedom to defeat jihad. It is a reasonable and sensible plan. I suggest all presidential candidates that are serious about defeating jihad, clearly not Hillary Clinton, look at it. You don't have to deport all Muslims. There are many Muslims that escaped the Sharia. Mm-hmm. But clearly there are Muslims that adhere to the Sharia, that want to wage jihad. They should not be allowed in the country. We should deport non-citizens who promote jihad in our nations. We should halt foreign aid to Islamic nations with Sharia-based constitutions. We have to get serious about this threat. We should Anyone seeking citizenship in the United States should be asked if they support Sharia law and investigated for ties to pro-Sharia groups, and citizenship should not be granted. And we should cancel the citizenship or permanent residency status for anyone who leaves the country of his residence to travel for the purpose of engaging in jihad activity and refuse re-entry into the country. These are sensible ideas. Careful investigation of Muslim residents in non-Muslim countries who have obtained natural citizenship or permanent residency status. We should be sure that they're not obtained under false pretenses. We're doing none of that now. There should be grounds for immediate deportation, for fomenting, for plotting, financing, attempting to carry out jihad attacks, encouraging or threatening or attempting to carry out punishments, that Islamic law mandates for apostasy, adultery, blasphemy, fornication, theft. Again, there are very sensible ideas that should have been enacted years ago.
All right. She is Pam Geller. She's the president of the American Freedom Defense Initiative. Pam, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now. Some clouds, a possible thunderstorm rolling through here later this afternoon. A high of 84 degrees. And tomorrow, pretty much more of the same. We'll have a thunderstorm lingering around. A little bit warmer, a high of 86. Any high travel times? Let's get the latest from Al Verdi.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, inbound Edens is fine, just 21, but outbound is really jammed from Montrose to Winnetka, 36 from Montrose out to Lake Cook. On the inbound Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, a full hour back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower inbound is an hour 10 from Thorndale to the post office, 53 in from Manheim. On the outbound trip, almost an hour 10 there. Stevenson inbound, 56 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 45 back out to 355. 55 traffic looks good. Dan Ryan inbound 23 from 95th to downtown. Outbound, no delays. Bishop Ford is wide open. 57 looks good. Lakeshore Drive southbound heavy Belmont to North Avenue, again from 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound backs up from Soldier Field to about Jackson. Tri-State southbound heavy from Belvedere down to Buckley. And northbound from 87th to the Hinsdale Oasis. Tight again from Ogden to 31st. I'm Al Verdi in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, there's a great reason why nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow, because it's the best. Even the National Sleep Foundation agrees that Made in America MyPillow is in a class by itself because they made it their official pillow. Now, if you still haven't bought one, you should. You'll sleep better, and it's good for your health. It's washable to remove the dead skin, dirt, skin oils, and dust mite. Yes, those dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, and asthma. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and it's an excellent health investment. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Be sure to use the promo code Amy so I can get some credit, but then you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. Give one as a gift, keep the other for yourself, or just use both, but do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, lots of reactions to the Pam Geller interview. This one, boy, got some
What?
Tough hombres in the audience. Just the way Pam pronounces Muslims tells me she's the wrong person. Too soft. When
What?
When Pam Geller is too soft for you, maybe you're okay.
Yeah.
Joe in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes. Hi, Dan and Amy. How you guys doing?
Good.
On this Pam Zellmer, that sounds very promising to the American people. I mean, which direction does the American people go today? You know, what do we do? Going back into the caves and hide and, let these people come in and control our country? Is that what it's all about?
Well, thanks for the call, Joe. Well, take that as the rhetorical question that it was intended to be. Verlin on the South Side.
How y'all doing today? Now, all they did was set Trump up. Now, when Stephanopoulos posed that question to him about sacrifice, of course he didn't sacrifice what Khan sacrificed. But and when he was talking, he's just not articulate. I'm not articulate. But he made sacrifices of a businessman. He sacrificed time with his family. He worked 20-hour days. He made sacrifices of an ordinary citizen taking the risk to start businesses. We all know without a private economy, there wouldn't even be people to serve in the military. But, of course, if you give your son, you made the ultimate sacrifice. But everybody's being disingenuous because they won't pose this same question to Hillary. And then Mr. Khan, we can play word games all day, but I could take offense to something that he said. What the hell does he mean by a black soul? I'm black. I have a soul. What do you mean? When Bill Clinton was president, they said he had the soul of a black man. Black people embrace that and like that. We can play word games all day long, and everybody can take offense. We know what the media is doing. When we do that blurred line with Muslims and immigration, only thing Trump is trying to say is people that got terrorist intentions to this country, we can't let them in. But the Khans and everybody else blur the lines together and say, no, you're talking about all Muslims. So we can play word games all day long. Let's get real about the situation. That lady that you just had on the phone, Geller, she was right. The threat is coming, and people not going to feel it until one of their own family member dies. Then it's going to be too late.
Thanks for the call, Verlin. And if you had said blurred lines one more time, I was going to make you sing that Robin Thicke song.
But don't plagiarize it. No.
Scott on the West Side.
Oh, hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. I totally agree with her. I always do whenever she calls in. I really enjoy that you have her. The one question that I have is, are we able to revoke citizenships of people in the United States? I don't know that we can, and I don't know that that's necessarily a good idea. But everything else that she proposes, I'm all for.
All right, thanks for the call, Scott. Let's go to, by the way, the whole issue of sacrifice, what is Hillary sacrifice? What is President Obama sacrifice? There was actually an open letter written by a Marine and Navy veteran to Mr. Khan posing those very questions. And, oh, by the way, Mr. Khan, what do you have to say about those who booed a Medal of Honor recipient on stage at the DNC? What do you have to say about those who interrupted a moment of silence for police officers at the DNC, kind of disgraced themselves and, to some extent, the party by extension? Legitimate questions. And Hillary's sacrifice, quote unquote, the idea that she somehow sacrificed higher paying jobs to go into the public policy arena, please. It's been the naked pursuit of power ever since the boy and a girl met in that Yale Law School library.
It was in the spring of 1971, I recall.
You remember like it was yesterday.
It was such a romantic relationship.
Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Mr. Khan didn't actually sacrifice his son. We're not talking about an Abraham Isaac thing here.
No.
His son's a hero, and, nobody should denigrate that. I don't think anybody has. But for all of the parents out there who have lost sons and daughters to the services of the United States military services and the Coast Guard, they have lost huge things. But, we're not in the age of conscripts anymore. These are decisions that their children made, and they grieve, and it's legitimate. But I think it's unfair to hold up this sacrifice, this, false, measuring stick for Trump or anybody else. I mean, nobody wants to see a child die, period. My parents buried a child. My dad talked about it until the day of his death. It never was a good thing. But I think this whole sacrifice argument is the wrong argument.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're looking to improve your child's academic education and attitude toward life, Christian Liberty Academy, based in Arlington Heights, has provided thousands of children in preschool through 12th grade with a superior, accredited, and affordable Christian education since 1968. The Academy offers a spacious and well-equipped campus, dynamic math and computer classes, art and music instruction, as well as comprehensive sports programs and after-school care services. The teaching staff at Christian Liberty is comprised of people who take a genuine and personal interest in each of their students and make it a point to give them the individualized attention that they need. Call the Academy at 847-385-2013 to schedule a tour or visit ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. That's ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. Don't let another week go by before you get serious about finding the proper school environment for each of your children. The summer is slipping away and registrations are filling up fast in many grades. So contact Christian Liberty Academy today and give your children a great foundation for learning and for life.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com has pulled the trigger to bring you classes for Illinois gun owners. Take advantage of Illinois concealed carry classes from Safer USA. Dave Lombardo, class instructor, is offering his concealed carry 16-hour seminar for only $150. Now, this seminar is normally $300, and it covers everything you need to know to protect you and your family with a concealed carry firearm for personal protection or against a home invasion. Dave is a pro, and he's also the host of the show on Target Radio. Hey, get in a little range time as well with a 1-year range membership from the Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Winthrop Harbor. This is the premier gun range in Northeast Illinois, and a 1-year membership is only $149. That's a $350 value. Your range membership includes great discounts on products and services at the Outdoorsman Sports Shop. So find out all the details only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. They're also featuring great deals on many other lifestyle training classes, so don't miss out. Be part of the fun. Go to ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should we just ignore the polls and wait for the first debate? We'll ask Sean Trendy, Senior Elections Analyst for RealClearPolitics.com at 8:38.
And later, a disturbing club at a high school. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Dave Stewart in for Mike Scott.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Good morning. It's 76 degrees in Chicago, 8:32 on AM 560 The Answer. Partly sunny today, high 84. Donald Trump's running mate is praising the fallen Muslim American soldier whose family has been trading barbs with the GOP nominee. At a town hall event in Nevada, Mike Pence was confronted by the mother of a military member who asked him how he tolerates what she called Trump's disrespect.
Time and time again, Trump has disrespected our nation's armed forces and veterans, and his disrespect for Mr. Khan and his family is just an example of that. Will there ever be a point in time when you're able to look at Trump in the eye and tell him enough is enough?
Pence said the late Army Captain Humayun Khan is an American hero and should be honored along with his family. Meanwhile, Donald Trump continues to bash the media, including the New York Times.
The New York Times is so unfair. I mean, they write 3-4 articles about me a day. No matter how good I do on something, they'll never write good. I mean, they don't write good. They have people over there like Maggie Haberman and others. They don't write good. They don't know how to write good.
Trump's repeated grammatical misstep prompted immediate criticism from his opponents. Chicago police say they've recovered 5,000 guns from the streets so far this year. Superintendent Eddie Johnson puts it in context.
CPD recovers more total guns than any police department in the United States, including 7 times more per capita than the NYPD and more than 2 times per capita than the LAPD.
He backs legislation to give repeat gun offenders more time behind bars. Police say 2 gunmen carjacked an Uber driver's car this morning on the south side. Police say the driver had 2 passengers in the 3100 block of South Lakeshore Drive when another car pinned him in, and 2 men with guns forced him and his passengers from the car and robbed the passengers. One of them was slightly injured. The city's inspector general says the Independent Police Review Authority has no record of looking into 6 police shootings over recent years. IG Joe Ferguson says those shootings were between 2007 and 2014, in which officers fired their guns but didn't hit anyone. In sports, Cubs host the Marlins again today after beating them 5-0 yesterday. The Sox are in Detroit. News and service of ADT.
ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com.
AM 560 News Time, 8:35. We got traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher can't believe what's happening to the Clinton campaign.
But you want to hear how goofy the Democrats are right now? They want to blame the Russians for the WikiLeaks stuff. Here's the Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook, on CNN.
The Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump. I don't think it's coincidental that these emails were released on the eve of our convention here. We also saw
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
8:37. Let's check the roads. From the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here's Al Verdi.
Thanks, David. Eden's inbound is now wide open, but outbound is still heavy from Montrose to Winnetka, 32 from Montrose up to Lake Cook. Kennedy in, O'Hare to downtown, 62 minutes. From Montrose, it's 51 in the locals, or 40 in the express lanes. The Ohio feeder ramp, as usual, is jammed up at this time of day. Kennedy outbound, 57 to O'Hare. Eisenhower in is an hour 11, Thorndale to the post office, 53 in from Manheim. The outbound trip is an hour 6. Stevenson inbound 56 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, back out a 45-minute ride. And Dan Ryan is 23 in from 95th to downtown, no outbound delays. 57 and Bishop Ford look good. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows Belmont to North Avenue, again from 18th to the Stevenson, and northbound is heavy from Roosevelt to about Jackson. Tri-State southbound backs up from about Belvedere to Buckley Road. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Today, partly sunny with a high of 84, partly cloudy tonight, warm and humid, low 71. Tomorrow, partly sunny, maybe a thunderstorm, and a high of 86. Right now, 76 at O'Hare. Next news, 9 o'clock. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
Jim just walked into the studio. I'll tell you all about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, so Hillary Clinton got a little bounce from the convention after Donald Trump got a little bounce from his convention. But perhaps the more interesting thing than what may turn out to be Hillary's dead cat bounce, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just use that phrase because it annoys you.
Meow.
Yeah.
It's so dead cat bounce.
This from Gallup, and they've been tracking this for the last 30 years. This, are you more likely or less likely to vote for a party's presidential candidate based on what you saw and or read about the party's convention? So Hillary Clinton, 45 to 41 more likely. In 2012, after the Republican convention, it was 40 to 38 more likely for Romney. 2008, it was 43 to 38 more likely for Romney. So normally for both parties, the response is I'm more likely to vote for them after seeing, almost a week's worth of them and their surrogates. For Trump, according to Gallup,
Yes.
36 to 51 less likely, a minus 15. It's the only minus since Gallup has been doing this. It's kind of a fascinating number, even though we still see him, more or less within striking distance, and particularly in swing states like Pennsylvania.
Did it give a reason as to why Trump's, traction didn't pick up after the RNC?
Well, no, because, for example...
What it was about it, maybe the former presidents didn't show up. I don't know.
No, but that's not a reflection on Trump. The issue, for example, wasn't just like his speech, something else going on here. So when asked about Trump's speech, his acceptance speech, 35% considered it excellent and 36% thought it was terrible. So that's a wash. So what explains the 15-point deficit coming out, even though he did get a bit of a bounce, particularly in battleground states. Sometimes it's hard to make heads or tails of the numbers, so you just got to wait for the debates and also people to go to the polls. But for someone who is better at making sense of the numbers than we are, let's go to our friend Sean Trendy. He's the senior elections analyst for RealClearPolitics.com. Sean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what about that those Gallup numbers in terms of more or less likely after reading and watching the party's convention and Trump having such a substantial deficit coming out of that?
Well, yeah, whenever you see polls, you kind of have to try to take them, in the totality, look at all of them. And the bottom line is that the polls showed Trump getting a 3 or 4 point bounce out of the race. So, the more likely, less likely numbers are traditionally difficult because you don't know who is more likely or less likely. In other words, if a bunch of Democrats became less likely to vote for Trump, doesn't matter because they were nosy already. And if a bunch of hardcore Republicans said, well, I didn't really like it, they'll still probably vote Republican. So the bottom line is that Trump got a bounce. Mitt Romney did not, even though he got a better, more likely, less likely score. So I think the Gallup numbers probably you just kind of take with a grain of salt.
And who do you think is going to get the independents? Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, or what do you think?
I know it's a little bit of a cop-out to say. It's hard to say, but, this is a year where Republicans should have a decent election. The fundamentals favor them, and Hillary Clinton is an unpopular candidate. But then Donald Trump runs around, making a 5-day story now out of the Khan family that should have been at most a 30-minute speech at a convention, or 15-minute speech. So it's hard to say. If he keeps up like this, the independents in a landslide will go for Clinton.
With respect to the kind of surveys, and I know cable news networks obsess about them on a daily basis, particularly when they commission their own to report on, of course, kind of manufacture the news. But with the race being where it is and the battlegrounds, and even nationally, even with Hillary's little bump from the convention, should we basically just not pay attention to it, wait for the first debate where, despite the Falcons and the Saints, I think you're going to get a good audience, and that's going to be a real watershed moment in the campaign that puts kind of everything we're talking about in July and August in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, I think that right now, in World War II, there was what they called the phony war period after Germany and everyone and France had declared war on each other, but they're kind of moving things around. That's where we are right now. We've had the conventions. Both sides have kind of energized their bases a little bit. Clinton's probably up 4 points in the polls, and this is probably where it's going to stay until September. And then the real war begins, and then we'll really get a sense of where this thing is headed.
So one of the questions, too, because we've gone through this for a number of cycles, Pennsylvania, is it really in play? We talked to some folks from the Philadelphia Inquirer during the convention last week, and they say, that's kind of the whole thing. Oh, it's in play, and then it separates, in the closing weeks, and it was never really in play. But they seem to suggest something different is happening in Pennsylvania this go-around. And Dave Wasserman from the Cook Report also had an interesting post yesterday about Pennsylvania actually turning red, not just about Trump, but Pennsylvania is moving in that direction more generally. And I wonder if you agree with that, because that does change the map for, both parties a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something that seems to be going on in Pennsylvania with, the Southwest and now even the northeastern portions of the state seemingly trending Republican. And also those are areas that have a lot of, whites without college degrees who are kind of Donald Trump's wheelhouse. So I think you have a situation where the Democrats have kind of maxed out in Philly. The Republicans are making some gains in the rest of the state, and in the long haul, that can make a difference. Now, Trump is a unique candidate. I'm not predicting he's going to win Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania might be a little redder compared to the country as a whole than we've seen in the past.
What about Ohio? I mean, Ohio historically has always put a Republican in the White House. If you can't win Ohio, you can't get in, correct?
No, that's right. I think no one has ever done that. Now, it was also true until 2004 that no Republican had ever won the White House without winning New Hampshire. So these things all hold true until they don't. But the bottom line is that we haven't gotten any polling out of Ohio in quite some time. The last poll was done in the middle of the Republican convention. So we had it as, Clinton up a point. I'd guess she's up a little bit more right now.
One of the other numbers that perhaps is more meaningful at this stage in the campaign than the head-to-head is for Trump, the base. Is he really consolidating the party? Is everybody rolling in, even reluctantly? And the CBS YouGov poll has self-identified conservatives, only 64% of them supporting Trump at present. It's kind of one of those classic good news, bad news things. When you're not getting as much of the base as you should, that means you have some upside. But, is that a real concern for Trump that you don't have conservatives come home the way that the liberal base may come home for Hillary?
Well, it certainly is a cause for concern now for the Trump campaign. At the same time, as you say, it suggests that he potentially has more room for growth because at the end of the day, how many of these people are really going to pull the lever for Hillary Clinton? The answer to that is probably wrapped up in how many more times Trump insults people that don't need to be insulted. I mean, this is an election that Trump can win, and he's kind of his own worst enemy, but he is proving adept in that role.
Why can't anybody control him? Because seriously, I don't think he has any self-control or boundaries on himself, but why isn't he have someone with him all the time monitoring him? Or bouncing ideas off of him before he, having a tweet edited out?
I don't entirely get it. I mean, part of his appeal is that he's not a scripted politician, right? And so there's a reason that we elect scripted politicians, because they don't wander off script in bad ways. At the same time, I mean, some of these things are so obvious. It's really mind-boggling.
All right, he is Sean Trendy, Senior Elections Analyst for RealClearPolitics.com. Sean, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, you're not going to believe what kind of a club is coming to a school near you. It's not only a high school, an elementary school possibly, but we'll explain. First, though, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine right now. Can't rule out a chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon, a high of 84 degrees, and then pretty much more of the same tomorrow. It's going to be hot and humid and sticky around here. Chance of a spotty thunderstorm, a high of 86. Let's get those travel times. How's the inbound Kennedy doing, Al Verde?
Amy, inbound Kennedy is a 62-minute ride from O'Hare to downtown. Very heavy. 51 minutes just from Montrose and the locals. Express will save you about 11 minutes, and as usual, the Ohio feeder ramp is jammed up. Outbound Kennedy 57 back to O'Hare. Eden's inbound only 21 to Montrose, but outbound 31, slow in a couple of spots there. Eisenhower in is an hour 11, Thorndale to the post office, 67 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson 56 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and 41 in from the Tri-State, outbound 45 minutes. Then Dan Ryan inbound, we're looking at 22 minutes from 95th to downtown, no outbound delays. 57 and Bishop Ford look good. Lakeshore Drive southbound slows Belmont to North Avenue, again from 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound backs up from Roosevelt to Jackson. Tri-State, let's see here. Northbound from the Stevenson to 31st is heavy, then it's jammed up from the Cermak Toll Plaza to about the Grand Avenue curve. I'm Al Verde in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything is going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach. With Online Trading Academy, they'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation, so you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now, 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now, 877-682-2442.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for X-Tract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the X-Tract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
And the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with X-Tract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. X-Tract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live X-Tract Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear from Jim, who just completed a no-cost refinance with Townstone Financial.
I would recommend Townstone to anybody, and I do. I always knew where we were. I knew the dates. I knew when I had to have information. There was no fire drills. The overall experience was, off the charts. I've not experienced, there's very few companies that I've encountered that really deliver that customer experience, and that's what sets you guys apart, hands down.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so how about this?
This is a joke, right? Is this an article from The Onion that you printed off and thought was maybe real news?
No, it's Washington Post, so I guess that's about as real news as The Onion, but no, this appears to be true. Doug Messner, who goes by the professional name Lucian Greaves, is the co-founder and spokesman for the Satanic Temple, a group of political activists who are seeking to establish, quote, after-school Satan clubs as a counterpart to fundamentalist Christian good news clubs, which they see as an attempt to infiltrate public education and erode the constitutional separation of church and state. This is in Salem, Massachusetts. Leaders of the Satanic Temple gathering in the crimson-walled living room of a Victorian manse in the city renowned for its witch trials. They're watching...
Easy, Chris Christie.
Yes, I mean, James Wan was there.
Did you say Satan?
Could it be Satan?
No, it's an after-school Satan club. They want to introduce after-school Satan clubs to public elementary schools, including one in Prince George's County.
Wait, I thought this was high school. This is elementary schools?
Well, yeah, you got to get them.
Got to get them.
Weed on Satan early.
Pre-kindergarten. Huh?
Chapter heads from New York, Boston, Utah, Arizona were in Salem on July 10 talking strategy, with others from Minneapolis, Detroit, San Jose, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and Florida participating online. Rahm Emanuel apparently unavailable. I think he's heading up the Chicago chapter. So what do you think about that? The idea of putting Jesus and Satan right next to one another and getting the kids schooled and the choices available.
Is this legal? I mean, you're the attorney here. Can you even do this?
Well,
or is this a freedom of speech to be in a Satan club?
Well, I mean, obviously you can affiliate how you so choose, of course. And
I recently found out.
Schools abide the law, Constitution, but for the sake of argument, let's pretend that they do. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Satanic Temple doesn't espouse a belief in the existence of a supernatural being that other religions identify solemnly as Satan or Lucifer or Beelzebub. The Satanic Temple rejects all forms of supernaturalism and is committed to the view that scientific rationality provides the best measure of reality in support of Satan. So, you got to really distinguish and look into your after-school Satan club before you join to make sure you're putting your elementary school kid, your second grader, in the right after-school Satan club.
Oh, I want to make sure.
One that views Satanism from a scientific rationality perspective and not from the supernatural being perspective.
I just didn't know that there were satanic temples all over the country.
Yeah, they're called public schools.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. They'll also keep you cool this summer with temporary air conditioners for any situation, big or small. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com. Reserved now for summer festival season.
What's the difference between an ordained minister and a minister who is commissioned? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
Our bylaws are very explicit that a commissioned minister can do everything but marry and bury. The IRS is dragging its feet in one case and has denied a campus minister in the other case on their exemption.
It's a tougher call because